Hola. Where's my little ghost? I need my little ghost friend. There we go. Isn't he cute? Or she. I don't know. I don't want to misgender the ghost. Good evening, Tiki Tack. Thanks for being here. And anybody else out there. So, tonight, we're going to talk about the recent, I didn't know what to title it as, so I just called it, like, Twitch drama. Regarding the kind of, like, Israel-Palestine stuff, the accusations of, I guess the back and forth accusations of Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. There's been shit going on. A bunch of streamers have been getting banned after they seemingly so have been getting passes for a while, and people have been complaining about it. And then also this recent news about the Israel, I'm pretty sure Palestine is included too, but the geo ban. So, yeah, we're going to talk about all of that. So I guess the accusation recently has been, is Twitch anti-Semitic? I personally don't know if it goes that deep, but I will say I do see a double standard, which a lot of people disagree with. So we're going to go through all of that tonight. I'm going to introduce you to some of these streamers that I'm referencing that I am also pretty new to myself. So I've been watching some of their streams, and as of like yesterday, I think these people have gotten 30-day bans.
What was that?
So I guess the big thing was, well, we're gonna go through all of it, but there was like this TwitchCon event, and a couple streamers there had this tier list. Here you go. Let's start with that. Let's just watch the video. So they had this tier list of oops. Pause. Jesus. Okay. Alright, so this is like a TwitchCon event. So a couple of the people on stage are who we're going to talk about. So this woman in the middle, Frogan, the girl next to her, Denims, I think her name is. We're going to be watching some of their clips and videos tonight. So like I said, this was like a TwitchCon thingy. And they had a tier list on the left. Oops. The top tier says Arab. And the bottom tier says Love Sabra, which is a Israeli-owned hummus company. It's like store brand hummus. Not my favorite. You know, if there's, I'll buy it. I think there's like one of the flavors I like, but that's beyond the point. So the context behind this, which these people on the stage were getting upset that everybody was excluding, was the tier list is supposed to be ranking people who's allowed to say Habibi, I think is the word, which means to be honest, I totally forget. But I guess it's like a word, and oh my god, my ignorance is really showing. Whatever language it is in Arab culture, they say this as I think it's like a term of endearment, but either way, it's not really relevant. I don't think it's Hebrew. Hold on. Yeah, it's Arabic. Habibi is an Arabic word that literally means my love. So they're ranking people on who has permission to use this word, this Arabic word. So the top list is Arab people have the most permission. Okay, and then it goes from the top to Arab coded, asks permission to say the word or use the word, thinks it's a slur, and the bottom is love sabra. So how many people like interpreted this, which is like kind of obvious, is from Arab to Jewish. Sabra also in Hebrew, I believe, is interpreted to a Jewish person born in Israel. I personally, so some people have been like thinking like, oh, this was a secret meaning behind it. They're actually talking about Jewish people born in Israel. I don't think that. I think they literally just meant love sabra, but that infers like you're Israeli or Jewish. So it is kind of like an Arab to Jewish tier list, but there, I just wanted to provide the context behind it. So, just to keep it straight, keep the facts straight and stuff. Either way, though, I think it's like kind of fucked up, especially with how this clip goes. So I'll just play the clip and that should explain more. Turn the desktop audio on. Okay.
I told you guys to clap.
Sorry, I guess further context. So the first person the first like feast they brought up was Hasan. So they could put him in Arab because he's Turkey and Turkish. He's Turkey. He's Turkish. And also he's like one of the big Palestine advocates online right now, right? I don't know who the second person is, but the third person they're about to bring up right now is Ethan Klein, who used to have a podcast with Hasan before they broke up, basically over this Israel-Palestine conflict stuff. Ethan is Jewish, and his wife is from Israel, I think, or if not, she's Israeli, but I'm pretty sure she used to live in Israel. But people call her a Zionist, and people call Ethan Klein a Zionist. Again, these are all accusations. So, and we're going to go through all of this tonight. But, so anyways, here's the clip. That's more context. Here we go.
The next person is one of my favorite people, Ethan Klein.
I told you guys to clap.
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one.
Okay, so you hear the obvious booing, right? Boo! She's obviously being sarcastic when she says he's one of her favorite people. Everybody's booing. Wow, that was a good reaction.
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one. That's good. All right. Turn that up. Turn giraffes.
We all know where this is going.
Okay. I like how we're giving audience input. They're like, fuck what you guys had to say.
Dude, where's the you guys are missing a category for Zionist. That was a joke. That was just a joke in my
Denims. Well, obviously it's Love Sabra, right?
Yeah.
It has to
That's
be.
easy. That's
Definitely Love Sabra. All right, so there he
Are we
goes.
being messy?
easy. Yes.
You put him as number. Yeah,
I'm
our
so
third
scared.
choice.
There, honestly, keep her on the bottom.
Okay, so that's the clip. So yeah, they pull out Ethan Klein. They boo him. The Denims girl says, "You forgot a category for Zionists." And the problem with this is they have no reason besides, and we're going to go into this, Frogan and Ethan Klein have had like personal beef, I guess, over this like past year. But besides that, like his takes on Israel and Palestine, they have no reason to dislike him. He has come out many times and said he's called the war a genocide. He's been very critical of Israel and the bombings and everything. So they really have no reason to be hating on him like this, or referring to him as a Zionist. And we're going to get into all of the evidence I have for this. So it's just kind of odd. So next I'll play Ethan Klein's own reaction to this video.
Hello everybody, it's Ethan Klein from my basement. Beautiful Friday evening, my kids just went to sleep, and I opened Reddit to browse my community, who I love so well. And at the top of the subreddit is this very lovely clip entitled, "Just a casual panel provided by Twitch at their con, broadcasted on their official channel." What is it? Well, it's a panel hosted by Frogan and 4 of her friends, in which they have a tier list where they rate people where good is Arab and bottom is loves Sabra. Sabra is a very popular hummus brand. I know in Israel, it's pretty much in everybody's refrigerator, and it's kosher. They're an American company, but they've been the subject of the pro-Palestine boycott. I mean, it's kind of just Arab good, Jew bad. I mean, I'm having a hard time seeing this any other way. And what's crazy is that I've been suspecting that Twitch has an anti-Semitism problem. Obviously, it started with Hasan platforming Houthi terrorists and showing unfettered terrorist propaganda on his channel. But now they've unbanned Sneeko.
Down with the Yahud! Down with the Yahud!
And they've just unbanned Fresh and Fit this week. These are 2 of the most prolific Jew-hating creators on the entire internet. And these are the 2 they've targeted to bring back. Now, taking this all in account, here's an officially sanctioned event.
So I do want to say, Fresh and Fit had a week ban from Twitch. So they happened to come back around the same time that they reinstated Sneeko as well. But since then, Sneeko has... So after this video, I guess like people have been voicing this to Twitch and being like, yo, what the fuck? You banned Asmongold for some like pretty harsh comments that he made. And then, these people like Frogan and Hasan, Hasan has like terrorist propaganda and interviewing a Houthi on his stream with no problems. Frogan is making comments about soldiers deserving PTSD, and she hopes they get PTSD. I'll play all this later too. And they don't even get a slap on the wrist. They don't get any bans. So I guess like people have been complaining about this over the past couple days. Ethan Klein made these videos. So since then, Frogan and Denims now have a 30-day ban. Pretty sure Denims has a 30-day ban. I know she was banned. And Sneeko has been banned indefinitely. I don't know about Fresh and Fit. But, so yeah, since Ethan made this video, Twitch has finally gone on to ban these people. Finally. But before that, prior to that, people were like, what the fuck? Why is this such a double standard? Why can people who are, saying things about Palestine get banned, but anybody who says kind of harsh things about Israel, why are they not getting called out or getting banned? And especially, like, it's not even like just like saying harsh things about Israeli people or calling people Zionists and shit like that. It's like supporting these like terrorist groups, like these like Hasan having this Houthi or Houthi affiliate, at least, which again, we're going to go through this, on his stream, showing the propaganda, interviewing him, and not even interviewing him, but just like glorifying him, like not asking him any critical questions, but just like praising him, basically, and sympathizing with him. Like, oh, this poor terrorist. Oh no, like that group, the Houthis, are the ones that were cutting off and kidnapping aid workers that were working for the famine in Yemen. So these people like are not good people. So when Asmongold was like making comments, and again, like I'm not going to defend his comments because I don't think he worded it very well, and I think what he said was bad, was wrong. But if I can interpret that into like a different way, he's not like totally off. So before you jump all over me, I will play that clip too and explain how I feel about what he said. But let's watch this first.
At TwitchCon, let's take a look at it and see what exactly is Twitch endorsing here.
Okay.
It's the perfect transition to our first person, Hasan.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder where they're gonna put Hasan. I'm gonna guess they're gonna put him in Arab.
Hasan is Turkish, but he's a brother,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Yeah, I think he'd be on Arab coded.
I mean, I would put him in Arab, to be honest.
I would put him also in Arab.
Which is great. That's the good one. That's the one you want.
Austin, let's go down the line.
He's
Arab.
Arab.
He's Arab.
Arab.
He's
He's
actually
Arab.
Lebanese. Like
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, Austin.
The next person is one of my favorite people, Ethan Klein.
I told you guys to clap.
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one. That's
Jewish.
Dude, where's the? You guys are missing a category for Zionist. That was a joke. That was just a joke in my.
Denims.
We're very proud of you, Denims, for bringing anti-Semitism right on stage, and you guys are killing it. And may I point out here, Chevron, Capcom, and Samsung. Do you know that there is an Arab to Jew tier list happening in front of your sponsor? And you guys were so kind.
So, other people have pointed out, and when I first saw this, before I got the like Habibi context of like who can say Habibi or whatever, I thought this as well. I was like, it's kind of like a tier list. Like you have like white people at the top, and then the bottom list would be like loves fried chicken and watermelon, or you know, some racist shit. That's what it looks like, right? And again, with the context, who can say loves Habibi? But I still think it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me, especially when they're like booing him and calling him Zionist, and they really have no reason to, especially because he's been so critical of Israel. So it doesn't really make sense.
Kind to sitting right in front of them. Chevron, Samsung, and Capcom. By the way, a bit of irony. I love that they're boycotting hummus and sitting in front of a Chevron logo. Like, yeah, I wonder which one's doing more damage. Okay. We know Twitch is like plays favorites with everything. If they were really serious about anti-Semitism, Sneeko and Fresh and Fit would never have been brought back to the platform. It's just a no-brainer, right? But they were welcomed back with open arms, and I mean, their whole platform.
So Twitch, sorry, not Twitch. Sneeko got his indefinite ban, because he went on a stream with Aiden Ross on Kick, and they were dressing up as Mario and Luigi, right? So they had the little mustaches, and then like Sneeko cut his mustache into basically a Hitler mustache, and then did the arm thing, the straight arm Hail Hitler shit, on stream. Right after he was reinstated to Twitch, he got this indefinite ban. So yeah, it's kind of, and like, this is shit he does all the time. He says terrible things about black people. He says terrible, he's friends with like white supremacists for some reason. A lot of these red pillars like buddy up with white supremacists. And then he says all this terrible shit about Jewish people. He makes very anti-Semitic comments all the time, and does all this Hitler shit, and like sucks Nick Fuente's dick. So I think Ethan is right. Like, why would you reinstate Sneeko? And then Myron is also like very openly anti-Semitic as well. So again, it's like kind of just the double standard. And I haven't shown you any clips besides the one TwitchCon clip of Frogan yet, but we will get, and Denims, but we are going to get into some of the comments they were allowed to get away with saying on Twitch without getting banned.
Form essentially for the past year has just been anti-Semitism. I'm not even kidding. And that's literally all they talk about. I don't know what to say. You know, I've been put in this position where, like, I watch this clip and I'm like, what the fuck am I actually watching? This is mad. I need to say something. Chevron, Samsung, and Capcom, they deserve to know. You know, I know Capcom put in a Shmuley the Rabbi in the next Street Fighter game, who attacks with the dreidels and throws foreskin. So they are very in touch with the Jewish identity. So we're going to have to ask them. That's it.
Attacks with the dreidels.
Enjoy the weekend. I know there's going to be lots of obfuscating and excuses for this video. And, you know, let's be real, guys. Let's just look at this optically. Imagine this flipped. Super Jew and colonizer on the bottom, right? And I go, Frogan, we know where she goes. She goes to the bottom. Like, let's be fucking real. Okay, no one else would get that treatment. So don't even try to pretend or act like this is some innocent little mistake and that one of the guys there is Jewish. I just don't care. I'm glad you have a Jewish friend. That's very nice. But at the end of the day, let's get real. Okay, get your shit together.
She asks for permission.
Okay, so let's watch the Asmongold clip now. And I'm going to give my thoughts on that.
Into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way.
Okay, so I'm going to pause real quick. So, like I said, sounds pretty harsh. So what he's talking about when he says, when these people have like genocide in their laws, basically, he's talking about the like execution of LGBTQ people in the Islamic world and in Palestine specifically, I guess, which is true. They have like executions of gay and trans people. So he's kind of saying, like, you know, they're terrible people for killing gay people, and they have a genocide of gay LGBTQ people there. So why would I care if they're getting genocided? Which is harsh, right? Like, nobody should be killed or genocided. So I don't agree with like not caring about that, because again, not all Palestinian people are like that. Like, they're under Hamas rule. So the people of Palestine are victims of Hamas, which are the ones that genocide LGBTQ people there. I can't speak for like all Palestinians, but the Hamas people are the ones that are like have that extremism. So like if you hear Palestinian people talking about being under Hamas rule, most of them like don't like it. They feel like they don't have a voice. They have lots of their rights taken away. They don't like being under Hamas rule. So some of them, I'm sure, like don't know any better, or have like fallen for the propaganda or whatever it is, because like Israel is bombing the fuck out of them and has caused terror in their country. So like they probably, some of them probably stand with Hamas because they're against Israel and Israel killing their family, whatever. It's like a very complex situation, right? But what I'm saying is like Hamas are not like the heroes of Palestine, right? They're just as bad for Palestine. And I don't know about most, but Palestinian people are also victims of Hamas. So it's not fair to say, oh, well, I don't care if like Palestine gets genocided when they're under Hamas rule, right? Which also sucks. If he said like, who cares about like Hamas people dying? You know, I don't really care about that either, to be honest.
They'd be doing the same thing. And how much did they kill? As many as they can. They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing.
Oops.
That's it. Just.
And again, like I don't disagree with that. He's probably right about that.
Takes enough. That's right. These thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us.
This is when it gets a little sketch for me. This is like, probably, you shouldn't say this.
They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways. It is that simple. No, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
So yeah, I think that end is a bit harsh, to put it lightly. Saying they're an inferior culture in all ways, I think is wrong, right? If we want to say, like, a culture that executes people for their identity or who they love is inferior, I would agree with that. But that's not all Palestinian culture. Again, I think he needs to make it more clear that he's talking about Hamas and not Palestinians or Arab culture, Islamic culture in general, right? So, like, I don't completely disagree with him on everything he said. I think he just could have worded it a lot better. I don't think he put it right. But I don't think his criticisms are totally wrong. I wouldn't call another culture like inferior in every single way.
He just put like a bunch of the pro-Palestinian.
Okay, so now let's watch what Frogan said, which got her 30-day ban. And this is not the first. We're also going to go into things she said in the past that she has previously gotten away with. And the only reason she got this 30-day ban was actually because of Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross went to the ADL and snitched on her, and that's why she got her 30-day ban, apparently. So that's kind of funny. So let's watch this clip real quick. It's pretty disgusting. But let me just
And there was some shit in between.
say real quick. She said this.
They were like,
I'm pretty sure before Asmongold made his comment, and she did not get banned until just recently when Aiden Ross finally said something. But if Aiden Ross didn't say anything, and if people weren't like yelling about this Twitch stuff recently, like Ethan Klein, she wouldn't have gotten banned. And she said other things before this that she got away with too, which I will go over also. But like Asmongold said that, and he got banned immediately. And she and Hasan have been getting away with saying like things like this and not getting banned. So that is the double standard that people have been complaining about. So let's just watch it.
Fucking soldiers. Distress, thank you so much. I will never have any fucking pity for any fucking soldiers. U.S. military? Boo fucking who? I hope you get PTSD. You know?
You know?
I do the ones the ones I'm like whatever about the U.S. soldiers are the ones that like acknowledge that like what they did was wrong. They didn't know back then. Whatever. You're a good person in my book. I'm like a Tom. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted. The U.S. military that are like, yeah, like, you know, I did this back then, but now I know it's wrong. Like, I'm changed. Like, fuck imperialism. Fuck this. You don't deserve the PTSD. But like any other motherfucker, you're joining them. You're like, oh my god, I want my fucking Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD. And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into fucking America.
Yeah, so there's that. So she can say that. Nothing happens. Asmongold says what he says and gets an immediate ban. And again, this is like also at the same time, this TwitchCon thing with the Arab to Love Sabra tier ranking list, and then also reinstating Sneeko, all this shit. So people were upset. And she has also said other things in the past, and then not to mention Hasan as well.
If you want to consider...
And Denims, which we will get into. So let's get into some of that now. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Say, like, you deserve PTSD. And this is in their TOS. Like, wishing harm on people. And then there's, like, stuff about veterans. Like, she specifically broke the TOS and nothing happened. All right, so let's go into a little bit of her background and the background of her beef with Ethan Klein. We're not watching this entire video. This video was made by Stardust. Right here, if you want to subscribe to her. It's pretty, I don't know if she edited this video herself, but it was like a very well done video. And it came out 5 months ago. So let's just get some of her background and some of the background of her beef with Ethan Klein.
And half white. Her mom gave her the name Morgan, who seemed to explode in growth during the pandemic, is someone named Frogan. Frogan got her start in the Hasan Abi community. She's half Lebanese and half white. Her mom gave her the name Morgan because
me and your dad were in a fight at the time that I was delivering you, so I wanted to give you the whitest name that I could find because it would make him the most mad.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
one side of her family is Christian, and
so I don't know if you were able to hear that, but her mom apparently told her she named her Morgan because she's half white and half Lebanese, and she wanted to name her the whitest name to make her father mad, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know, but
and one side of her family is Muslim. She seems to identify more with the Muslim side.
Put my scarf on when I was 9 fucking years old. So I've been covered head to toe for most of my life. Was there a reason I started at 9? So I went to a private school and it was a part of the uniform at 3rd grade. But anyways, my dad said that if I put the scarf on, he'd give me a whole new wardrobe, and I never got it, so.
She does say that her father was not very religious.
Here's the thing though, like, my dad was strict, but he wasn't like, we didn't have to hide shit from him. You know what I mean?
He was never religious. He just cared about his reputation.
Yeah.
Reputation is an interesting thing.
Okay, so I thought that little snippet of background was kind of important. Her dad's not very religious. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought, like, of course that doesn't really mean much. Like, she could obviously, you can come into like your religion yourself, but she lives in LA. She I don't know. I'll just leave that there. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, go for it. So let's go to the next part of this video that I want to talk about. Let me get my time stamps. Alright, so we're going to start with her background, her beef with Ethan Klein. So it kind of started with this whole like tweet she made saying she didn't like therapy because her therapist was a Zionist, and made inappropriate comments about her like head covering and her religion and all of that. But as Stardust covers in this video, there's lots of inconsistencies with her story as she's posted about this throughout the years. She seemed to like add details or leave out details that she then added later, and it just kind of seems like bullshit. And with her track record that Stardust goes over in this whole video, she doesn't have a good track record of being truthful all the time. She seems to make up things or lie or change details in her story, so it's kind of hard to trust what she says all the time. But yeah, I'm going to start the video here.
Sought women of color therapists assuming relative empathy, mentioned Palestine, and noob therapists sees it as just another place and not caring or being knowledgeable due to discrimination she faces in America.
She receives backlash immediately. Keep in mind that Frogan at this point has a history of pretty problematic tweets. The way she has referred to Zionists in the past is strange, and while it isn't the way she
this is her poll. Is there a difference? Is there really a difference between the KKK and Zionists?
She has referred to Zionists.
And again, like, the problem that I've been hearing a lot of Jewish people voice or express about this is that people are not very clear on what a Zionist means to them. It's kind of this nebulous concept that everybody has a different definition for. Oh, sorry, am I really quiet? So yeah, like, a lot of people have been making anti-Semitic comments and then saying like, oh, well, I'm talking about Zionists, I'm not talking about Jewish people. But then, like, when you go, if you were to say that on the other side, oh, I'm criticizing Hamas, I'm not criticizing Palestinians, it's like, no, you're not allowed to do that. They kind of like assume you're conflating those two. So what I'm trying to say, like, this happens, there just, again, there seems to be like a double standard. They're allowed to make anti-Semitic comments and then say like, oh, well, I'm just talking about Zionists. But on the other side, if you're talking like shit about these terrorist groups like Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis, it's like, oh no, you're being Islamophobic because you're talking about Palestinians and Lebanese and Yemen people. So yeah, there's these, and I don't know. I'm trying to point out that the line gets blurred between Zionist and Jewish people, just straight up Jewish people, or Israeli people who just live in Israel, in these words and tweets and stuff.
in the past is strange. And while it isn't a problem all of the time, a decent amount of people are referring to Jews when they say the word Zionist. So it's reasonable for a lot of people on Twitter to take issue with the tweet, the word Zionist.
So why do some of you go out of your way to see a film with a Zionist leading role? If you said yes, what's the difference?
Oh, it's
I don't know
reasonable
what
for a
film
lot of
she's
people on Twitter to
referencing.
take issue with the tweet and question her. When Ethan Klein notices the tweet, he calls out Frogan on his show.
I'm going to say this because it pissed me the off. And being an anti-Semite openly and proudly is now likes on Twitter. Frogan, she tweeted out, she goes, I have a problem with my Zionist therapist. Just call him a Jew. I'm sorry, but that you can't talk like that about any other minority. I had a problem with my Zionist therapist. What you taught your Zionist therapist? Did you get those level of details from them? You had an in-depth conversation about the politics of Zionism with your therapist? No, I know what you mean. You mean Jew.
He makes a good point. When is it acceptable to target any group like this? It's hypocritical for Frogan, someone who's very quick to talk about discrimination she faces, to do this. Frogan replies, trying to explain herself.
When I say my therapist was a Zionist, when I went back to her in 2019, I mean, she literally brought up that I was Lebanese unprompted and confronted me on it, saying she was Israeli. She asked if I had a problem with that, if I felt like Israel had a right to exist, started asking more and more if I was frustrated with Islam and have considered taking off my hijab. I asked her if she was all right with me being Lebanese, and she got really aggressive, accusing me of flipping it on her and refused to answer. So when I say Zionist, I don't mean she was Jewish. I mean she was a racist Israeli who could not help herself but to confront me about my ethnicity and what was supposed to be a therapy session.
So remember that word, unprompted. Now Frogan goes on to elaborate further. She replies to her own tweet saying,
Here's me talking about it the day it happened, briefly 4.5 years ago. I just went to therapy for the first time, and after talking about my dad fleeing the Israel-Lebanon war, she was like, I'm Israeli. Do you have any issues with me being your therapist? Bruh, I was so taken aback. My mom told me I should switch because that wasn't professional. What are your thoughts on this? Because I'm genuinely so conflicted right now.
Comparing her original tweet and the story she tweeted at Ethan, the stories are glaringly different. The original claim was that the therapist asked her,
Right, like, so I think as Stardust is about to get into, like, if she's bringing up in her therapist session that her father fled the Lebanon-Israel war, I think that's fair for her therapist to bring up, like, oh, well, if this is, like, an issue that affects you, I just want to let you know, like, I'm Israeli. Like, is this going to be a problem? Do you feel comfortable with me being your therapist? If, like, that is literally an issue that you are bringing up that you care about, her therapist, I mean, I feel like that's kind of fair, and just being, like, open and honest.
Do you have an issue with me being your therapist? Which is vastly different from, she confronted me on being Muslim, asked if Israel had the right to exist, if I was frustrated with Islam, whether I've considered taking off my hijab. Wouldn't all of this have made it into the original tweet if that's what actually happened? It's almost like she's underhandedly saying, this Israeli Zionist Jew saw my hijab and is trying to brainwash me.
And by the way, the woman who made this video comes from a Muslim background or Muslim family.
The only explanation for why her story changed so much is that she was traumatized by it so much that she didn't want to tell the whole thing. But we all know if that actually happened, it would have been in the original tweet because she'd be grasping at any chance to play victim. The story only changed when she needed to save her. She added all these details to make the therapist seem way worse. So remember when I said, remember that word? Remember when Frogan said, unprompted? Does this look unprompted to you? She quite literally brings it up first, saying, after talking about my dad fleeing the Israel-Lebanon war, where is the unprompted part here? Make it make sense. Additionally, it seems like the therapist was being considerate. It looks like Frogan is being dishonest here. Her therapist was looking out for her. It makes sense that if she has trauma surrounding the Israel-Lebanon war, that she might have some feelings about having an Israeli therapist. And she would even agree with that therapist.
When I started therapy a few years back, my therapist being Muslim, I was so uncomfortable at the thought because I didn't want her judging me. But she was the best person I've ever met. It's important to have a mental health worker that understands your culture/religion.
Another thing to note is the inconsistencies every time she's told this story. She's told it many times. So, is she being honest? I don't really think so. I mean, look at how she even talks about Ethan responding to her tweet.
TLDR, Ethan came after me again, unprompted. I got pinned as an anti-Semite, and I had to do a response. It's fucking dumb.
Unprompted, yet again. So, she says she got pinned as an anti-Semite.
Seems like her go-to
I wonder why
word.
people might think that about her. I mean, look at the way that she talks about Zionists.
Is there really a difference between the KKK and Zionists? So why do some of you go out of your way to see a film with a Zionist in the leading role? If you said yes, what's the difference? She is a Zionist. She deserves to be bothered. Zionism justifies the killing of Palestinian people so they can take back their homeland. Stop defending a Zionist. Would you defend somebody in ISIS? The best version of yourself will never happen when you're a Zionist. Why are Zionists socially accepted?
Hollywood's idea of showing America how not elitist they are is by gracing a theater full of normies with their presence and chuck them hot dogs.
I would hate to be in the same room with a Zionist.
What does this even mean? Hasan is talking about Hollywood and she brings up Zionists. Is she doing the Zionist run Hollywood trope? We know where that came from, right? Blank runs Hollywood. Also, it's a little bit dehumanizing and troubling to see her talk about not wanting to be in the same room with a Zionist. It feels weird. So, with all these tweets, can you blame anyone for thinking she is anti-Semitic or worse? And it turns out her current therapist was right about one thing. She could have avoided this entire fiasco.
She was like, yeah, sometimes we need to filter ourselves. Like, we don't need to say everything on our mind. Like, for example, somebody could be wearing the same pair of underwear for a week, and then that doesn't mean they have to go off and tweet about their stinky vagina. Stinky vagina. Stinky vagina. Stinky.
Okay, sorry, hold on. I'm gonna skip through this a little bit. Let's see. All right, so this is more getting into the background with Frogan and Ethan Klein's beef. But it started with that therapist tweet.
Mouth at the thought of a revolution happening in America.
Okay. So here we go. This I thought was a pretty big deal. So this tweet she made on October 7th, 2023. So on the day of the October 7th attacks at 5:28 a.m. In LA Pacific time, California time. So this is only hours into, it's actually like still during the October 7th attack. So she made this tweet on October 7th during the attacks saying, leftists preach and foam at the mouth at the thought of a revolution happening in America, but as soon as it happens in the Middle East, what they're doing is wrong. So what is she implying here? She's implying that what is happening in the Middle East, aka the October 7th attacks, are not wrong because it's a revolution. That's what she's saying as the attacks are literally happening.
As soon as it happens in the Middle East, what they're doing is wrong.
Frogan tweeted this at 5:28 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 11:28 a.m. in Israel. That's before the attack was even finished in Israel and before they finished counting bodies. Ethan decided to unfollow her after days of her tweeting completely unhinged things following the October 7th attack. Ethan's wife, Hila, is from Israel and still has family in Israel. Instead of looking at her behavior on social media and doing some critical thinking about why she was unfollowed, she started to post on social media about it.
That feel when one of your favorite content creators unfollows for being pro-Palestine.
Hey, dumb. Being pro-Hamas isn't being pro-Palestine, just so you know. And then, when that wasn't enough, she took to Hasan's Discord.
Ethan Klein unfollowed me. Wow. Why am I sad? LNO. Ethan, I'll support the IDS. Refollow me. Ethan probably was like, this damn Arab supports Hamas.
It's disgusting and disgraceful for her.
Okay, so this is where the beef really started. Well, it, kind of started with that therapist tweet. But after the October 7th attacks and Frogan was making all these tweets, you know, implying that it was okay or they weren't wrong. Ethan having like family that is, his wife is Israeli, who has family in Israel, and he has children that are Jewish and like whatever, decided to unfollow her. He didn't tweet about it. He didn't say anything. He just hit unfollow and went on with his life. She noticed and she turned it into a whole drama. And this is really where their beef starts. So that's why when she says, "Oh, my favorite person," sarcastically, this is like what she is talking about, him unfollowing her, because she used to be his fan. Again, she was a mod of Hasan's. Ethan Klein and Hasan had a podcast. They were friends up until this whole Israel-Palestine conflict, and Hasan went fucking off the rails, basically like defending Hamas and saying all this crazy shit, which we're also going to get into. And Ethan couldn't take Hasan's community coming at him with all this anti-Semitic shit, so they like broke up. And then he unfollowed Frogan, and so yeah, now there's this whole divide between them, even though again Ethan has said himself that he thinks it's a genocide and he doesn't support Netanyahu or whatever his name is, and the Israeli attacks and shit like that. Like, he's very critical of Israel. So actually we can watch that now. Okay, here's some of the...
Who made this beef public? You are.
Your first post here in the past week is to call me out for supporting Palestinians fighting back.
Again, because you made a big deal of him unfollowing you.
What is revolution to you if not overthrowing prison guards that keep 2 million people from leaving, shelling their homes, wantonly civilians, mostly children, for the past 70 years to the approval of international community? The American Revolution was fought over for less than the unrelenting massacre of their people.
I don't even know what to say here. Are you supporting Hamas's actions or not? Because what happened on October 7th was solely Hamas and other radical Islamist groups. Are you not aware of this?
Why are you leaning towards me being pro-Hamas? Is it because I am an Arab Muslim girl? Is this a life of an Arab Muslim girl on the internet? I tweet something pro-Palestine. Yeah, the funny hat I wear. Yeah, the funny hat I wear. Is that what's giving it pro-Hamas?
Oh, I know this one. It's just a joke, guys. She's not implying anybody's racist, right? As we can see just from Frogan's initial reactions, instead of trying to remain somewhat level-headed, Frogan implies that Ethan Klein is racist, and that it would be crazy to think that Frogan supports Hamas. But would it really be crazy to think that?
Leftists preach and foam at the mouth at the thought of a revolution happening in America, but as soon as it happens in the Middle East, what they're doing is wrong. Civilian deaths, okay, still, where was this energy for Palestinians for all these years? Next video idea. People on Twitter will suck the toes of Ukraine, but draw the line at Palestine. Where has the empathy been for Palestinians since 1948? Be so real right now, Lamau. As an Arab, the history of the occupation of Palestine was instilled in my upbringing and the first topic I was ever politically aware about. If you are uneducated about a topic, you do not have to speak on everything. Ask questions, listen, and learn.
Okay, so I can't speak as an Arab, but I can speak as a Muslim. And yes, it's true that a lot of us grow up learning about Palestine, learning about Israel, learning about that conflict. That does not mean that you excuse terrible crimes against humanity. This is not a team sport. These are lives. With all of this back and forth, of course we would see this drama bleed over, right into the podcast that Hasan and Ethan host together, Leftovers. In the last episode of Leftovers, Ethan and Hasan talk on stream about the Israel-Palestine conflict. Ethan brings up Twitter to critique the actions of Frogan and people like Frogan in a roundabout way.
I don't think people who say I support Palestine are pro-Hamas. That's f***ing insane.
Okay.
It's like the opposite of everything I've ever said, okay? There is something I noticed that rubbed me wrong, which was that as the news was breaking, as people were still calling in saying, I'm in my safe house, I hear the terrorists outside my neighbors, people are on Twitter or whatever, or activists, whoever, saying, let's go Palestine. Go Palestine. So how am I? It's the timing, Hasan. It's important. Like, we got to make this huge distinction. When people are saying go Palestine as their terrorist people, that to me, I don't know who else they're cheering on other than Hamas.
In his usual fashion, Hasan gets very cagey, trying to excuse the actions that Ethan is describing.
There's an asymmetry to the violence, but there's also an asymmetry to the coverage as well.
Okay, asymmetry. I don't know how that's relevant.
So let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
When Lindsey Graham goes on and says this is a religious war and we must ethnically cleanse, we must wipe our enemies,
should get the same coverage.
No, I know, but it doesn't, Ethan.
What aboutism? All right. At a certain point, Ethan seems to know that he isn't getting the acknowledgement he needs.
Just to get a direct answer, where as the terrorist attacks are happening, there's people calling, saying, my neighbors are being shot by terrorists right now. And there's people saying, go Palestine. Are they talking about Palestinian freedom or are they encouraging Hamas? The Israelis.
I don't know.
This entire conversation seems to be Ethan trying to get Hasan to acknowledge how terrible the timing is and actually condemn.
Again, like, and that's a fair criticism because, like, pro-Hamas is not pro-Palestine. Pro-Palestine is not pro-Hamas. So there's no reason to be cheering on Palestine when Hamas is attacking Israel in a very brutal way, which, by the way, many of these people that we're going to talk about tonight deny now. They deny that these rapes happen. They deny that it was. They think it's like overblown in the media, the attacks.
People celebrating before the dust has even settled. It's part of his broader point that people need to be able to empathize with their enemies. Hasan, for whatever reason, seems unwilling to do that and dances around this for hours.
Like, your take about, like, listen, Gazans are under apartheid, they're being genocided and all this, which is all true.
And that is what's causing this violent retaliation.
And it's what's causing this retaliation, yes. Which is all true. I'm sorry, but it's not the fucking same as saying, let's go Palestine as bodies are hitting the floor.
At some point, they wrap up the show, and Ethan apologizes to Frogan, which I still don't think he was wrong to be upset over. I don't want to question Hasan's motives here, but given his history of problematic tweets, his usage of racially based
I encourage people who get stuck behind the pro-Hamas mobs blocking traffic, take matters into your own hands, get them out of the way. And then his son posted this makeshift gun thing.
Insults.
Skin incels.
And his denial of that took place in October.
And this is some of the denial I was talking about. The actual report findings show something very different than the way this new UN report is being presented in the media. And he has said, which I will play the clip later, he has said, like, what rapes did Hamas do? And then when Kamala is talking about the rapes that happened on October 7th, him and his chat kind of like scoff at it. And his whole chat is saying, like, are they still perpetuating this lie about the rapes? Like, the rapes didn't happen. Fuck you, bitch. Blah, blah, blah. So this is some, propaganda that they believe, or they're kind of saying that these rapes that happened on October 7th is propaganda, and it's not true.
7. I wonder why Hasan is covering for Frogan. Does he have something to hide? I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I want to show it briefly because I think it's important. After more talks about Israel and Palestine, Ethan realizes that he doesn't think he can talk further about the conflict. As usual, Frogan jumps on the moment to criticize him. She volunteers her stinky opinion once again. I think it's pretty insensitive and honestly indicative that you're coming from.
Okay, so yeah, we saw Ethan say that the Israel conflict is a genocide. I have one part of this video timestamped.
Eliminate themselves?
Very cool. Is incredibly dishonest. Please take a look at the following.
So are they going to eliminate themselves?
Very cool joke, perpetuating a conspiracy theory that Israel attacked themselves on October 7th.
Free him. Never mind.
Okay, so Israel's internal security agency announced that they will eliminate all participants of the October 7 massacre. And Frogan says, so are they going to eliminate themselves? Again, as Stardust pointed out, she is implying that Israel attacked themselves on October 7th. She is implying that conspiracy, that they attacked themselves on October 7th, kind of like this conspiracy they used to say about 9/11, that America attacked itself on 9/11 so that they could go into the Middle East and start a war. Okay, to be honest, I have my own opinions about the 9/11 attacks that I will not get into here, but I don't believe anyways, I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, there is videos of this happening, of like the October 7th. There are videos of terrorists, Hamas and whatever other terrorists coming into people's houses, shooting them, kidnapping people. There are still hostages. There were women found naked from the waist down. There are eyewitness reports, testimony. This was a huge event that happened, and to say that Israel did it themselves is pretty crazy and offensive.
Perpetuating a conspiracy theory that Israel attacked themselves on October 7th.
Free him! Never mind.
Why were you tweeting free him in the first place? From one Muslim girl to another, maybe don't tweet stuff.
TikToker Daniel Larson charged with threatening to bomb at the White House. Free him. No, Frogan, he likes CP. Keep him locked up. Never mind. So bombing the White House, free him. Interesting. Dude, I don't get these people. Like, if you fucking hate America that much, just move to the Middle East then. Or just get the fuck out. Go anywhere. Like, I know, like, I seriously hate the argument, well, just move, blah, blah, blah. But for people like this that, like, seriously hate your country so much where you're, like, fine with people trying to bomb the White House, like, that's an extremity where I'm like, okay, you can get the fuck out of the country.
Stuff like this when you have pictures like this floating around. And these are just a few of her likes on Twitter. It's game over for Israel. James Bond is officially fighting for Hamas.
Sounds like a pro-Hamas tweet. Not very pro-Palestine.
What was that about not supporting Hamas again? It's no exaggeration to say Gaza has broken out of its prison and is launching a war of liberation. It looks like resistance on an unprecedented scale, actively retaking Palestinian land. Equating Hamas to resistance again, very cool. Remember that Israel has admitted to harvesting skin and organs from dead Palestinians to use for skin grafts and organ transplants, and the majority of the skin in Israeli skin banks was stolen from Palestinians they killed. Pretty sure this is anti-Semitism. It's blood libel. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I know it's a Hamas operative waving to a hostage. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments what this is supposed to mean. White people see Arabic words and go, OMG, terrorists, like a stupid villager in the 17th century accusing women of witchcraft. I'm sorry, what? What? Hamas did a military operation against the IDF and unfortunately civilians died, some unknown but not insignificant amount due to the intended IDF fire. The IDF related by killing 10 times more so far with 99% civilian right. I'm not both siding anything. I'm glad this got community noted. Everything Israel said was proven a lie, not anything. I'm glad this got community.
So Hamas did a military operation against the IDF, and unfortunately civilians died. Some unknown but not significant amount due to intended IDF fire. The IDF related by killing 10 times more so far with 99% civilian, right? I'm not both siding anything. Majority of deaths were civilians not in the IDF. This included party goers at a music festival, Thai farmers, Nepalese students, Muslim, but I don't know what that word is, etc. The concert was purposely targeted as Hamas militants directed the fire there and at farmers.
Where?
These are her likes. These are the tweets that she's liked.
Community noted. Everything Israel said was proven a lie. No babies, no.
Here again with the rape denials. Everything Israel said was proven a lie. No beheaded babies, no raped women, no Hamas attack on concert, no Hamas misfire on hospital. They made it all up, just like America did with the weapons of mass destruction they never found. So she's denying all of this happened. And again, like there was confusion about the beheaded babies, but I'm pretty sure there were dead babies. So, like, whether or not they were beheaded is, like, okay. But there were still dead babies found. So, to say no raped women, no Hamas attack on the concert.
Women, no Hamas attack on concert, no Hamas misfire on hospital. They made it all up. Just like. What? Remember this tweet? This man replies, I wouldn't go so far as to call them people.
Yeah, again, like this is some of the shit. And by the way, Twitch's TOS is that you can get banned for conduct outside of Twitch. So if you post something on Twitter or on a different streaming site, you can get banned from Twitch for the conduct that happened off site, of like outside of their platform.
Guess who liked that tweet? Ding, 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 ding.
Okay, so that's the last bit of that video we're going to watch. Now we're going to watch a couple other videos. A couple clips from a couple other videos.
You go be with them. Can you link me? Because I just pulled up on Twitter. I mean, this started when I just quietly unfollowed her, okay? I didn't like the tweet she was making. I thought they were, like, leaning too much towards pro-Hamas. And
Okay, so this is his statement on why he unfollowed Frogan.
I just didn't like it. I didn't want to see it. And so I fucking quietly unfollowed her. I didn't make a big deal. I didn't say anything. But, like, she got to turn it into this whole big thing that turns into a drama that's now being posted all over the internet. Like, I'm sorry, it's a Twitter follow. It's not that serious, okay? First of all, and foremost. She said, oh, here, let me just check my Twitter because I posted a screenshot of it. She posted, like, yo, one of my favorite YouTubers. Oh, let me find it. I didn't post that one. I'll just show the whole context here. Frogan. Oh, God. I'm not... And by the way, people are probably saying horrible things about her, too, which is why I don't want to show this general spray of horrible shit that people are saying. Oh, thank you, AB. I saw this. That face from one of your favorite content creators unfollows you for being pro-Palestine. Like, first of all, the framing of that is fucked up, okay? Let's not even go there. Second of all, thank you for saying I'm your favorite content.
Yeah, she's saying that... She's insinuating that he unfollowed her for being pro-Palestine when, again, she made that comment on October 7th about, like, basically implying that the October 7th attacks weren't wrong because it was, like, basically a revolution, which is, like, a fucked up take. And apparently, like, throughout the next couple days, she was just posting, like, unhinged, like, pro-Hamas takes. So he unfollowed her.
Content creator, I mean, that's flattering. You know, we appreciate all the audience members, and you know,
we're only watching a couple minutes of this.
You don't even know why I unfollowed you. You don't know. You have no information. We've never even talked, and so people start somehow. Oh, this is how people figured out that it was me. Once again, I saw that, and I wasn't going to say anything. It's like whatever, fine. You know what I mean? Like, vent, do whatever you want to do.
The hummus.
So I guess this from her Discord got leaked. She said Ethan Klein unfollowed Frogan. This is from our subreddit, I think. Ethan Prob was like, this damn Arab supports Hamas. That's not funny. That's not funny at all. Like, the whole framing of this is really fucking cruel. Ethan, I'll support the IDF. Refollow me. I don't support the IDF either. It's not funny. So that's the framing of it. And then the reason I unfollow.
Like, he himself says he doesn't support the IDF. But they still call him a Zionist. And then what are all the fucked up things they say about Zionists? So, like, you can follow the line and put it all together.
Followed her because apparently she wants to know. Is because of this tweet specifically and a few others, but this is the one that I was like, I don't want to see this anymore. She said, leftists preach and foam at the mouth at the thought of a revolution happening in America. But as soon as it happens in the Middle East, what they're doing is wrong. Now, this, to me, I'm interpreting this as, let me read what I wrote. I don't want to say anything out of pocket, but I don't fucking like that. People are talking about me unfollowing Frogan, so I'll explain why, since she wants to talk about murdering children and burning families alive in their safe houses is not a revolution, it's a massacre. And if you think that's what revolution is supposed to look like, I'm terrified for your idea of an American revolution. Okay? She goes, but as soon as it happens in the Middle East, what they're doing is wrong. She's implying that what Hamas is doing is right. I mean, she's basically all but saying it. She's saying, as soon as a revolution happens in the Middle East, then all of a sudden what they're doing is wrong. She's saying, in her opinion, that what they're doing is right because it's a revolution. And what she's talking about is Hamas. It's up to 1,500 people, innocent civilians, not settlers, not combatants, children, babies, elderly. People were viciously and, it was just wanton, blatant, full-blown murder, massacre, depravity. Okay? And if you think that that's right, then I don't fucking want to know you. They're burning families alive in their safe houses, killing babies. They found 40 dead fucking babies at this kibbutz where, like, tons of people got killed. Now, I don't know if they were beheaded, okay? And some people really care about that detail. So, to me, the 40 babies is enough to just, I think shooting a fucking baby's body with an AK-47 is barbaric enough. I don't really so much care if their heads were cut off or not. And I don't have a hard time believing that they would. Shooting a fucking baby with an AK-47, yeah, I'm sure their greater humanity prevents them from doing whatever your imagination can run wild with. So, sorry, I don't want to fucking know you. And I think it's disgusting what you said, and I think shame on you. That's what I honestly think, And I'm going to sit here until I'm blue in the fucking face talking about how the IDF is a genocidal criminal institution, that Netanyahu should be tried for war crimes. He should immediately resign. I can tell you that the West Bank settlements are basically an act of war, and I don't really believe even that settlers are civilians in the same way that the people who were murdered are. I can tell you that what Israel's doing in Gaza is as evil as it can be, as evil can be, just what they're now doing in response to this, which is blowing up, leveling neighborhoods, cutting off water, power, food. I can say that till I'm blue in the fucking face, so I don't want to hear any goddamn person saying that I'm a Zionist, which, by the way, is a dog whistle for anti-Semitism. I'm not a Zionist.
Okay, so that's all I'm going to play of that clip. But we can hear in this clip that he is clearly very critical of Israel and Netanyahu and doesn't support the IDF and thinks it's genocide and is, all of this shit. So there's no reason for anyone to be calling him a Zionist and putting on these labels on him. In my opinion, the only reason Frogan dislikes him so much is not because of his Israeli takes, it's because he unfollowed her. Or it's because he's Jewish and has a wife from Israel. So it's one of those two reasons, or both. So yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can take from that, considering he has like the same views that she does, essentially. At least on the war. Her views go a bit further, obviously, than his. But I don't think she would disagree with anything that he just said. So why doesn't she like him? Is it because he's actually Jewish? Or is she just so butthurt that he unfollowed her? So that's why it's confusing. Alright, so now we're going to watch Frogan's response to Ethan here. Again, this is only going to be like a minute long.
And stuff was like exploding in front of you, and like houses were being. gives a shit. And now I'm seeing like all these political people like jump in, and it's like, hey man, like cool, this is our life. Like this isn't fucking content, you know. Even the stuff that's going on with you and Ethan. I mean, these are everyone's a real person. This isn't content.
No, and like the thing is, I still love Ethan. I used to consume his content. I used to watch his podcasts.
Yeah, me too.
But like after him going after me in October, like I haven't watched his content anymore. Like I don't want to like sound dramatic, but
him going after her in October, aka unfollowing her for making unhinged tweets about the October 7th attacks, where his wife literally has family in Israel.
I just can't like stomach it anymore. Like I just don't want to
associate. He was actually
fair.
like personally one of my like the favorite.
Yeah, and I just like don't want to associate that anymore because it's like kind of triggering in that sense. So with this happening all over again, I'm just like,
yeah.
What sucks is it's like we were talking about this. It's like, how do you prove a negative? It's like I'm not it. You know, like
what are you gonna do? What am I gonna show like a whole family picture roll of all the Jewish people that I have on my phone? Like you can't do that. You know, so like when you make it sucks because it's just kind of like whoever says the information first is automatically correct. You know. Yeah. So with Ethan using his platform and just saying what he did, I mean, he could have said it. Don't get me wrong. He could have said it and totally not have said your name, and then this might have happened, but not as large as it is right now. But to deliberately go out of his.
He didn't say her name. She made this a big fiasco. He unfollowed her and didn't say shit. And then she posted about it. Made a bunch of comments like saying like, oh, he probably unfollowed me because he's saying I'm pro-Hamas. After she did just make a bunch of pro-Hamas tweets, to be fair. But he never even said that. He didn't say anything. He just unfollowed the bitch.
His way to... It's bewildering to me. And it's honestly, it's heartbreaking because it's like, that's not true, but how are we going to defend ourselves and how are we going to fight this? It's kind of literally what's going on in the world today. You know, there's no way we can really fight and defend ourselves unless we are put in this position where we have to fight back. And I'm like, oh, why should we even be in that position? It's because of something someone's...
So that was kind of a weird statement to make. I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave it for you guys to interpret yourself, but he's saying like that's kind of what's going on in the world today. Like kind of saying like these Jewish people, and again, like this guy is Jewish. So this guy is kind of like their scapegoat, like, oh, I have a Jewish friend. You know, like that's kind of like how they use this guy a lot of the times from what I've seen. But like he's saying like, oh, like how do we defend ourselves from these Jewish people or the Israeli people who are attacking us because they unfollowed us? I don't know, just like to make this like weird relation between the actual Israel-Palestine conflict and then your Twitch drama or your online internet drama. It is like ridiculous to me. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of a weird take. Interpret how you want yourself. I'm going to move on to the next thing. So if you remember in the beginning of this video, I played the video of the TwitchCon thing, and there was the girl who made the comment about Ethan Klein saying like, oh, you forgot a category. You forgot the Zionist category. And implied that Ethan Klein is a Zionist. Again, like for no fucking reason other than him being Jewish. Literally, none of his beliefs align with the category of a Zionist. That's why lots of Jewish people are saying like Zionist is another like scapegoat for just being anti-Semitic, because you can just make these anti-Semitic comments and being like, oh, well, I'm talking about Zionists, not Jewish people. Especially like when you're putting Ethan Klein in a Zionist category when he does not even support the IDF. He calls the Israel-Palestine war a genocide. Like we just watched all of these clips, so there's no reason for them to be calling him a Zionist. So yeah, we're gonna watch a stream from that girl. I'm gonna watch a couple minutes of this. Of her reacting to Ethan's video about this.
That's the next video.
I'm having a hard time seeing this any other way. And what's crazy is that I've been suspecting that Twitch
Sorry,
has
okay.
a hard time seeing this any other way, and what's crazy.
All of that was just.
Okay, I really don't like this bitch. Okay, so basically for the rest of the stream, we're going to be reacting to her. We're going to be reacting to her reacting to Ethan Klein, essentially. Because originally I was just going to straight up watch Ethan Klein's, he made like an hour-long video breaking down why he feels Twitch is supporting anti-Semitism. And he goes through all of the clips of like Frogan and this Denims girl or whatever. Actually, I don't know if she was in it. Besides the tier list section. But mostly Frogan and mostly Hasan. And him bringing the terrorist, the Houthi kid on his stream, or Houthi associated. And then going through that kid's tweets and things Hasan has said about the October 7th attacks, again, like denying the rapes and denying the attacks and all that stuff. So I was just going to watch the Ethan Klein video, but then I thought we could kill two birds with one stone and watch her reacting to Ethan Klein's video. So we can understand how these people really feel. Because I think it's very interesting because Ethan Klein really puts forward a bunch of really good evidence about this. Stuff that has been on Twitch that has, not been called out by the platform. Nobody has been banned for any of these things. She even says, we're going to watch it later, she even says America deserved 9/11. She says a bunch of fucking crazy shit like that. Yeah, so we're gonna watch this stuff. Basically her reacting to Ethan's evidence. And I think it's really interesting to watch how she deflects and defends all of this evidence that Ethan puts forward. It's very interesting to me. So that's basically what we're going to be doing from here on out. Okay.
Just to show off the very last part, which is every time anyone says, I'm beginning to suspect, I suspect this is happening, I just think of that Ostenox clip. That Ostenox video.
Now, having a hard time seeing this any other way, and what's crazy is that I've been suspecting that Twitch has an anti-Semitism.
All right, okay. Rest of the video, important. Let's go.
I can't stand her fake laugh either. It really fucking... Oh god, it's so annoying. It triggers me. Jesus. Okay, we'll get used to it because there's going to be a lot of it.
Problem. Obviously, it started with Hasan platforming Houthi terrorists and showing unfettered terrorist propaganda on his channel. But now, they've unbanned Sneeko.
Down with the Yahud!
Which, I have to say it, but which community do you think has been talking about banning Sneeko for the past however long? Do you think people like us want Sneeko to be unbanned? No, I want him to be banned, and I think he should be banned. I think he said enough crazy shit that he should be banned. Also, do you think Muslim people want this guy representing us? Fuck no, what the fuck?
She's missing the fucking point. The point is that Twitch unbanned Sneeko at the same time while allowing people like you and Hasan and all this other crazy weird pro-Hamas shit on the platform, and at the same time they unbanned Sneeko. That's what he's saying. So she's just missing the fucking point.
Fuck. First of all, I don't even believe that he's Muslim. I think he just did it as a joke. And I think he did it to follow into Andrew Tate's footsteps. But dude, no. Muslim people don't want to cuck as their fucking representation, man.
Down with the Yahud!
And they've just unbanned Fresh and Fit this week. These are two of the most prolific Jew-hating creators on the entire internet. And these are...
Which, again, do you think leftists like these people? Do you think leftists want these people to be, unbanned?
That's not the fucking point, bitch. Shut up.
Two they've targeted to bring back. Now, taking this all in account, here's an officially sanctioned event at TwitchCon. Let's take a look at it and see what exactly is Twitch endorsing here.
Okay. It's the perfect transition to our first person, Hasan.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder where they're gonna put Hasan. I'm gonna guess they're gonna put him in Arab.
Hasan is Turkish, but he's a brother.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I think he'd be on Arab.
Again, this is her right here.
I would put him also in Arab.
Which is great. That's the good one. That's the one you want.
Dude, this is just like when you guys ever have like a couple break up in your friend group, and the friend group is like, "Hey, no, we're cool. I mean, we still like both of you guys. Like, obviously, if it's all mutual and stuff, we still want to be friends with both of you guys. You guys are both cool." But then one of them just starts becoming more and more and more insane. And you're like, dude, what's happening? Like, what is happening?
God, the fake laugh.
Austin, let's go down the line.
I don't know why it pisses me off.
He's Arab.
Arab.
He's Arab. Lebanese. Like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, Austin is literally Lebanese. Why is he clapping? Austin is literally Lebanese. He's literally Arab. What the fuck? Good on you guys putting a Lebanese guy in the Arab category. What? Does Ethan not understand the Turkish-Arab rivalry? Yeah, we're trying to mend the Turkish-Arab rivalry, okay? We're trying to become one.
Good job. Good job, Austin.
The next person is one of my favorite people, Ethan Klein.
I told you guys to clap.
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one.
Dude, Vio in the middle, just in her egg shape.
Oh, Jewish.
Dude, where's the? You guys are missing a category for Zion. I forgot I said this, man. Zionist. That was a joke. That was just a joke in my.
Denims.
Everybody laughs.
Why did he edit and show everyone that his face fell? Why did he do that? Oh, God.
We're very proud of you, Denims, for bringing anti-Semitism right on stage, and you guys are killing it. And may I point out here, Chevron, Capcom, and Samsung. Do you know that there is an Arab to Jew tier list happening in front of your sponsor? And you guys were so kind to sit right in front of them. Chevron, Samsung, and Capcom. By the way, a bit of irony. I love that they're boycotting hummus and sitting in front of a Chevron.
Does anybody know what's going on with Chevron? When he made this comment, I was like, what's going on with Chevron? I was curious about that.
Logo, like, yeah.
Next, someone's going to tell me that Twitch is owned by Amazon, and people exist in a society, and we didn't fall out of a coconut tree. That would be crazy. Thankfully, everybody knows content creators would never work on a platform that did or supported bad things ever. Of course.
I wonder which one's doing more damage. Okay. We know Twitch is like plays favorites with everything. If they were really serious about anti-Semitism, Sneeko and Fresh and Fit would never have been brought back to the platform. It's just a no-brainer, right? But they were welcomed back with open arms, and I mean, their whole platform is...
Denims, why did you personally approve the Chevron sponsorship for TwitchCon? Sorry, my bad. My bad, sorry. That was my fault. Sorry. I also have to come out with a bit of a confession. I'm against slave labor, but I have an iPhone. Yeah. I know, I claim to be a socialist, and yet I participate in capitalism. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I just thought I should tell you guys, all right? I'm sorry.
Essentially, for the past year, has just been anti-Semitism. I'm not even kidding. That's literally all they talk about. I don't know what to say. You know, I've been put in this position where, like, I watch this clip and I'm like, what the fuck am I actually watching? This is mad. I need to say something. Chevron, Samsung, and Capcom.
Dude, there's a genocide happening. But these Arab people made a list where they rated content creators. So I just need to say something right now.
They deserve to know. You know.
And this is the excuse we hear all the time. We're hearing it right now about the Israel geo-ban. So again, since the October 7th attacks, you have not been able to make a Twitch account in Israel. And I'm pretty sure in Palestine either. But let's be real, like, how many Palestine people are, like, streaming right now. And that is their excuse, is like, oh, well, why do we care about like anything that's going wrong with Israel? Or why do we care about any anti-Semitism when Palestine is getting bombed? Or when there's a genocide happening? So it's just like, sorry, we don't care about your problems. Like, we just like don't have the space to care about anything else because Palestine is being bombed. It's like, you can agree that Palestine is being bombed and like care about the genocide or whatever, but while still realizing that there's other bad shit happening. And they just use this as an excuse. Like, oh, sorry, I made an Arab to Jew tier list, but like Palestine's getting bombed right now, so I don't really give a fuck about like, you know, how that comes off. I don't really care that there's been a geo ban in Israel for the past year, that Twitch said they banned making a Twitch account on Israel and in Israel and Palestine on October 7th so that nothing gory would be streamed on their platform. And then, oops, they forgot to unlock the ban for this entire past year until like Destiny and Dan came out about this the other day. And they've been finding evidence of this whole past year, people trying to create accounts in Israel on Twitch and not being able to because it's geo-locked. So, but you know, who cares about that? Because Palestine's getting banned or bombed. Like, so sorry, we don't really have the room to care about that right now. And this is like, and now she's using that same excuse. Oh, sorry, did I offend you by making like an Arab to Jew tier list? Like, oh, sorry, well, Palestine's getting bombed, so that kind of excuses anything that I say offensive about Jewish people right now. I don't think we have to watch... I had a couple other timestamps in this, but I don't think they're necessary. She basically just goes on to say, like, oh, one of the guys on the stage was Jewish, who I already talked about, you know, their Jewish scapegoat friend, whatever. Which is, like, what white supremacists, like, is say, I have a black friend, or, like, the Candace Owens making all of her anti-Semitic comments and being like, I had Jewish friends growing up. It's, like, great. Good for you. She also uses the excuse, the full context excuse. You're missing the full context. But the explanations don't really matter if you want to defend the tier list by saying like, oh, well, it was actually a tier list of who's allowed to say Habibi. You still booed when Ethan Klein came up, and you specifically, Denims, called him a Zionist for no reason, because again, he doesn't support any Zionist views. And then you support people who say death to Zionists and say a bunch of other racist shit. Where if you were to, like, you know, I can't be in the same room with a Zionist. Ethan Klein is a Zionist. So therefore, or Zionists deserve to be bothered. Ethan Klein is a Zionist. Or Zionists are the same as the KKK. Like all this other shit. And then you're calling him that. So, sorry, the context for your tier list doesn't really matter. And also, the main point is that you're allowed to do all this stuff, like, at TwitchCon, and say all this shit on Twitch, and not get banned, or get called out, or anything, but then Asmongold gets immediately banned, and anybody else who says anything, about, like, Palestine that isn't in favor of that, they get banned, or they get talked about. So, that's the problem. And then Sneeko getting, like, allowed back on the platform. You know, and then Destiny had an interesting theory, like, he's been, like, very, not, like, pro-Israel, but, like, I guess you could say, like, pro-Israel, or at least, like, defending, Israel, like, and their history and everything, and doing a lot of Israel-Palestine debates, And he was like, well, if they brought me back on the platform, the Israel geoban would have been noticed immediately. So it was kind of like a conspiracy he put out there, but I don't know like how valid it is. But I'm just saying, like, there's just been like a lot of stuff building up, and there seems to be a double standard. So let's just go to the video where she reacts to Ethan's video.
When is every Zionist like a freak? Like for the tier 1, thank you.
Of the stories, just to catch you guys up to date. This started with
Dude, can I just say one thing? Why? I'm about to show a chat message. I'm about to show some chat logs. Why is every Zionist like a freak? Like, Ethan Klein has not been justifying genocide. You're dumb as shit. Frogan deserves everything that comes to her. What?
Zionist. They must be a Zionist because they're talking shit on Frogan. And literally telling the truth that Ethan Klein has not been justifying the genocide. Sharing that truth makes you a Zionist now. You're a fucking freak Zionist for saying that Ethan Klein did not justify the genocide, which is true. So you're a fucking freak Zionist.
What's wrong with the Zionists like this? Like, why is it that the second anyone criticizes them, they're like, you know what? I think you should suffer. I think you should suffer. And you know what? I think this person should suffer and this person. It's like, whoa, dude. First of all, who brought up Frogan? Why is Frogan being brought up right now? That's crazy that you're bringing her up. That's so weird, man. She hasn't come up in this conversation yet. That's bizarre. Second.
So fucking weird. I just can't put that together. That doesn't make sense.
Online that defend the state of Israel in a very Zionist fashion. Why do you guys always go directly to, I hope bad things happen to the people I don't like? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I genuinely don't.
Wait, that's literally what they fucking do all day long.
Why are you so pro-suffering? I would like people to stop dying and stop suffering. I would like 0 Israelis to die, and I would like 0 Palestinians to die. I would like there to be no violence. I would like to see people stop dying in the Middle East, regardless of who they are. Why are you such a freak and want people to suffer? That's so
well, then why do you
weird.
why do you support like Hamas and Hezbollah and Houthis then? Why are you defending these people that are hurting Arab people?
So bizarre. What's a comparison to Anne Frank? It's a really stupid clip. I'm not even gonna delve into that because it's a whole shit show.
She does delve into it later. We'll get into
this topic. First time catching the stream. Glad the topic is this because Hasan doesn't want to touch it, and I understand. I mean, Hasan doesn't want to touch it because there's no point in touching it, right? Like, he's just being Ethan Klein's just being weird on main for some bizarre reason.
This tweet I saw. By the way, I pulled this last night just to see where it was at.
Train right there for the gift sub program.
When I posted it, had like 30,000 likes. It says 90,000 likes.
Some bizarre reason like this. The I hope they commit suicide squad with Ethan Klein in the picture. Destiny, Asmongold, and I don't know who the other guy is, but like clearly people who talk about Israel, even though again Ethan doesn't defend Israel. I mean the IDF. So yeah.
2 million views. I never heard of this guy, but no, it's from first of all Comrade Casey. Yeah.
Okay, objectively, the Comrade Casey tweet was funny. I'm assembling a team. That tweet, I'm assembling a team, that was funny. Okay. Because that has the same vibe as like Nightmare Blunt Rotation or whatever, right? The I hope they commit suicide squad, that one is like, oh dude, you're pushing it. You're pushing it. I'm not gonna say, this and this, that, or this, but I don't know. Yeah, we will, trust me, you will get that. You will. Oh, yeah. Oh, thanks, guys. Welcome.
You see, the guy who is a fucking absolute creepy weirdo who was
I don't get how the tweet is anti-Semitic. It's not. It's very clearly a criticism of the people in question that are talking, right?
posting Hamas simping shit via love. It was so weird. This dude. Anyway, you guys remember that whole thing? He typed in and said, "Please stop talking about me," and while continuing to talk about me. Very good. And again, I'd also like to wonder, what the fuck is it exactly I've said or done to like belong in this image? I know what you're saying, right? What have I done? I continually ask myself, why am I being held up with these group of people? And anyway, Comrade Casey said, I'm assembling a team. This guy, Hasan Kader, said, I hope they commit suicide squad. And, which I found, I'm like, wow, okay, so...
First, I want to know if the crew is under contract or something. That's why they just sit there in silence, or if they don't care. Low-key, I think H3 crew is just like, dude, I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. I just want him to stop fucking talking about Hasan and Palestine. That would be my guess.
90,000 likes telling me to kill myself for a belief. And again, this is part of the problem. Like, what have I done? Like, why am I in these memes getting 2 million views of me telling me to kill myself? Because apparently I'm like anti-Islam or I hate Gaza or whatever. I mean, Asmongold was just blasted.
No, literally, like, why did she just roll her eyes? Literally, what the fuck did he do? What did he do? But I literally shared, like, the same views as you about the IDF and Palestine. So, why is he a Zionist? And why are you, like, liking, tweets and shit about, you know, Zionists deserve to die and whatever? Like, all this fucked up shit?
For saying horrible shit about, like, I don't remember the verbatim, but he said something like Muslim culture or Arab culture is inferior, which is insane, right? It's fucked up. It's insane. When have I ever said anything like that? You know what I mean?
How do you think of 15 months?
Okay. So, but since when is telling people to kill themselves like normal? And again, part of the irony of this whole thing is that on the left, they're basically willing to undermine everything they believe in. I guess at the behest of going after Zionists, because they see Zionists as subhuman, they see them as Nazis. They've given each other permission and consent and the green light to essentially target whoever they perceive as Zionists with whatever abuse they deem necessary, because they're Nazis and they're killing children and innocent people in Gaza. That is my problem. Anyway, I responded to this tweet telling me to kill myself with 90,000 likes. I said deranged shit telling me to kill myself with 36,000 likes at the time. 36. What exactly as I said or did? Nobody has ever been able to tell me.
Okay, sorry, I'm going to say something. Okay. You know, when someone says, what did I do? No one has been able to tell me. 100 people have told them. 100 people have told them.
Told him what?
Okay. All right. I will say it another time. Another 101 times, I guess. You insist on defending Israel's right to defend itself. Okay, fine, whatever. You and like most mainstream media, great. But if any of Israel's enemies try and defend themselves, it's obviously wrong, obviously terrorist actions, and Israel should kill all of them.
Again, conflating Hamas as like Palestine defending themselves. Like, I guess that's the issue here, is they think that these terrorist organizations are actually, like, you know, they're people, these countries' people, like, fighting back. When these terrorist organizations hurt the people of their own country. Again, like the Houthis, kidnapping aid workers that were working for the famine in Yemen and cutting off the supplies to get to the Yemen. Yemen is in a civil war right now with the Houthis. Their own country, like they're not fighting for their own country. They're not fighting for their people. This is not Yemen people fighting back. like Hamas is not Palestinian people fighting back. These aren't Hamas, Houthis. These are not good people. And Ethan Klein will show proof that these people are terrorists. And they are not the people of Yemen, the people of Palestine. They're not the good people of Yemen and Palestine fighting back. They are terrorist groups that have taken over these countries. Like, Yemen is in a civil war with these people that are fighting Israel. It is not Yemen people fighting Israel. It is a terrorist group that took over Yemen that is fighting Israel. That is the fucking problem. And then you are defending them. You're defending the group that is hurting the good people there. The good people of Yemen. The good people of Palestine. The people of Palestine don't want to be under Hamas. I mean, obviously, besides the ones that do. But when, like, if you hear people talking about being under Hamas, it's scary. They don't have a voice. They don't have rights and freedoms. But these people in their cush, comfy houses in America are like, oh yeah, fight back. That's not them. That's not them fighting back. But they're sympathizing with them. Like, oh, well, imagine if you grew up, like, in a country and, of course you would become a terrorist. Of course you would just execute gay people. Like, no. No, you don't have to, you don't have to excuse that. That's not excusable. You don't have to sympathize with that.
Most, I think, notably,
especially when it's hurting the people, the native people who live there, who don't want that either.
Most recently, right, the conflict between Hezbollah and Israel. Israel is allowed to bomb the shit out of Iran. It's allowed to bomb the shit out of Lebanon, and you say nothing about either of those things. No commentary is made on Israel just bombing the shit out of Iran and Lebanon. When Hezbollah targets a military base and only injures and kills IDF members, you say that it's still wrong, and Israel now needs to defend themselves even harder. What is it? What is it that?
It's called war. It's called a fucking war. I don't know. And again, like, I'm not defending Israel's actions here because, like, I do believe that they have committed war crimes and gone too far, have killed too many civilians, and I don't support all their actions. But this is a nasty war, and just because Israel isn't doing the right things doesn't mean that Hamas is doing the right thing, because they're not.
You want exactly Iran and Palestinians and Gaza and Lebanon to do? Do you want them to just roll over and Israel should be able to do whatever they want? What is their recourse? What are they allowed to do? Are they allowed to defend themselves or no? Because I'm with you on civilians. I'm with you on that. We should try to have the civilian deaths go.
Yeah, again, Hamas and the Houthis are not Yemen and Palestine defending themselves. That's not what's happening there. They're not defending their countries. They're hurting their own countries.
To zero. I would like 0 civilian deaths. But, like, please tell me, what is it that Israel's enemies should do? They should just lie down and let Israel kill them? Is that what you really think? Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
So fucking
He literally
naive.
referred to Ramallah as that terrorist city when asking Ila about her time in the Arab. Was it him that referred to Ramallah as a terrorist city? I think it was Ila that referred to it. He says all that terrible shit that's been going
Hila is Ethan's wife.
on, but never actually says what the wrong thing is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just, that's the problem. The problem is that you hold a double standard. When Israel is doing some crazy shit, there's silence, or there's very...
And that's not fucking true. We just watched Ethan literally disgrace the IDF and Israel's actions and call it a genocide. So I don't know why you're putting these accusations on his name when he has never supported any of that. And you call him a Zionist and then support all these things about, like, that say terrible shit that should happen to Zionists and shit. So therefore you're saying it should happen to Ethan and you're fine with that happening to Ethan and shit. So this is the problem. You have the double standard.
Very little on, like, pushback.
And it makes no sense.
Israel, no, they shouldn't do that.
Because you're supporting the groups that are hurting the people that you are trying to protect. They're not protecting their people. Hamas and the Houthis are not protecting their people. That's not happening. But you're supporting that.
So that's bad. And then the second anyone at all says, dude, Israel's doing this fucked up shit, you call it anti-Semitic. That's why people put you in the category with these other people. That's why. My issue with Ethan is that he only brings up the situation when it's talking about the side of anti-Semitism. With that being said, I do still think some of the points he makes in this video are worth listening to and having a conversation about. That's my problem too, and that's, I think, a lot of people's problem, right?
Okay. Yeah.
The next one.
We'll see how much of a conversation she thinks needs to be had about these things that he's about to bring up. We'll see about that.
It made me think of this tweet from our wonderful Houthi pirate, the cute Houthi pirate that Hasan interviewed. And I remember...
All right, so the cute Houthi pirate that Hasan interviewed is the guy who made this original tweet with the pike going through the guy that says, "The execution that we will carry out on all Zionists." And the reason he called him like the cute Houthi pirate is because all these Hasan fans are like, "Oh wow, he's so hot, he's so dreamy." And there's literally videos and pictures of him taking over boats in the sea, because that's what they do. They're trying to affect the trade that happens in this like big strip that goes from like through the Middle East. It's like a big trade route, and they're kidnapping people on these ships, and we don't know where those people are. And there's pictures of him, selfies of him on these fucking boats, and these Hasan people are like, "Oh wow, he's so dreamy, he's so cute," because Hasan had this kid on his stream. And that was fine on Twitch. That was totally fine. But what Asmongold said got banned. So the problem is the inconsistency. Again, the double standard. Why aren't both of them banned? If you want to ban people, you should ban both of them. But Hasan is like this untouchable angel of Twitch.
Remember this tweet he put out? Just a cute tweet from our favorite Houthi. Same people telling me to kill myself love this guy. And that's true. They do. They love him. Hasan interviewed him. He hypes him up even as recent as like this week, okay? This is a tweet he put out. The execution that we will carry out on all Zionists. And it features somebody whose arms is...
From my understanding, not a Houthi, also for starters. And second, pretty sure the guy who made this tweet literally clarified and said, "I'm not talking about Jewish people, I'm talking about Zionists." And he makes a
Oh, he clarified? Oh, that's so nice. How fucking naive. You are so fucking naive. This is exactly what racist people do. Racist people do the same shit. They use some kind of a scapegoat, or they say some kind of like, I'm not talking about black people, I'm talking about N-words. Like, that's literally something that like white supremacist people fucking say. Okay? That's the same shit that's happening here. And then, you know what's funny? She just said, "Oh, I'm pretty sure, you know, this Houthi kid, or I'm sorry, he's not a Houthi, because he said he wasn't, despite all the evidence." He said he wasn't, so he's not. Yeah, let's just believe him. He has no reason to lie. But, you know, he clarified that he's just talking about Zionists. Right after she just called Ethan Klein a Zionist. And somebody in her chat a Zionist who literally only pointed out that Ethan Klein does not justify the genocide, which is true. I just showed you all the evidence that he does not justify any of Israel's actions, any of the IDF's actions. But, oh, if you say that, apparently you're a Zionist too. So I guess I'm a Zionist now. So I guess, you know, this tweet... This is the execution we will carry out on all Zionists. That's just cute. That's a cute, fun tweet. Let's like it.
Distinction between, you know, the people that come from Brooklyn to take over somebody else's house, because if they don't take it, somebody else will. And Jewish people, and that there are different things. Which is crazy that you need to even fucking clarify that. Like, I don't... Whatever.
Tied behind their back, and they've been impaled by a spike through their asshole and up and through their mouth.
Also, let's just be real, okay? Like, this is the nicest thing that could happen to someone like Bibi Netanyahu. Which is like... That is, I think, someone that everyone can agree, Zionist scum. Like, that guy is a total piece of shit. Like, absolutely. There is no punishment that would fit his crimes. This would be kind for someone like that, right? They're obviously not talking about random Israelis that were born in Israel that had nothing to do with any of this. They're obviously not talking about all Jews.
They're obviously not talking about all Israelis or all Jews. You know, this terrorist Houthi kid isn't talking about that. You know, even though the same people who defend executing LGBTQ people would never say all Jewish people. Duh. Like, he's progressive, right? This Houthi terrorist kid is like obviously progressive, like me in America, living in LA. Like, what the fuck is wrong? The naivety here is the problem. Lots of these young, progressive people are so fucking naive and so willing to be so open and loving and accepting of everybody. Just like, oh my God, I have to sympathize with everybody. It's like the fucking people who sympathize with pedophiles. Oh, it's a disease. They can't help it. Fucking idiot.
I would like to know what people go. Hasan talked to him and he said he's not a Houthi, and he says he doesn't hate Jews. Why is it you understand how this works with every other minority group? Like, do you really think that if I asked this guy, like, tell me what do you think a Zionist is, that he would have some nuance to answer about the difference? I mean, as you'll see, this kid is a rampant anti-Semite and a violent Houthi terrorist, which I will prove to you guys, in my opinion, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Okay.
However,
yeah, we will.
So, like, this kind of rhetoric, frankly, disgusts and scares me. People call me a Zionist. People call my wife a Zionist. It's my family.
Okay,
it's my children.
Your wife is absolutely a Zionist, okay?
Oh, okay. So therefore, like, she's, it's acceptable for her to be impaled with a spike through her ass, through her mouth, because that's what this cute little boy that you support says. So that's what you're basically saying is acceptable for Ethan's wife and Ethan, because you've called him a Zionist too, and somebody in your chat who literally, oh my God, I'm repeating myself. But again, this is why their logic makes no fucking sense, and this is why people are pissed off.
All right? Like, come on, dude. Come on. Okay? People call you a Zionist because you say a bunch of Zionist shit, man. Because you insist on defending so much of the crazy shit that Israel gets up to and that you feel so obligated to...
What? Like what? Give me one fucking example. Play one example of Ethan saying something Zionist-esque. Please. You only say this because your friend Frogan is upset that Ethan unfollowed him, or literally just because he's Jewish. So, which one is it?
Parrot their bullshit and their lies, dude. Your wife literally was like, all this paperwork is boring. Let's go to terrorist city Ramallah so I can get some action. For fun. Like, what the fuck did you Zionist? What?
I also love how there's like sympathy for like these terrorists because they grew up and they grew up having these wars with Israel, so of course we're going to give them an excuse to like October 7th. We'll excuse October 7th because they grew up and they don't know any better, so raping civilians and killing civilians, like that's them fighting back. We can sympathize with that, but when it comes to like sympathizing with Israeli people who have these maybe equally awful views of the Arab countries they're fighting, we have no sympathy for that, even though they grew up under these same wars and these same like groups of people bombing them throughout their entire lives. They have safe rooms in all their houses, but we have no sympathy for those views. Like, I agree that they're equally terrible. But these people have, people like Denims and Frogan and Hasan have a double standard.
This is so insane. The 40 babies defending the hospital bombing, etc. Yeah. Also, the fact that anyone, I don't remember the details well enough, but the fact that anyone at all defended hospitals getting bombed in Gaza because there were obviously terrorist tunnels underneath there is fucking crazy. It's crazy to me. That's insane to me. That's like, anyone would think it's cool. Also, yeah.
Yeah, and anybody who defended the October 7th attacks is fucking crazy too.
Like, to say, no, Eli's not a Zionist. I can't believe people would call my wife a Zionist. Meanwhile, clip of his wife talking.
People are saying Israel does that on the daily. The idea.
I don't. That's not what I'm talking about.
Wait, sorry. Let's go back.
People are saying Israel does that on the daily. The idea.
I don't. That's not what I'm talking about. See, that's what you're doing. You're excusing people being burned alive and kids being murdered. You're saying Israel does that on the daily. Okay. Now I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. So are you?
well, bitch, what the fuck are you staring at? Because you literally defend people who like did October 7th and then say that's like some kind of revolution and it's a good thing. They're just defending themselves. So how are you any better than what she is saying? That's the problem. Again, the double standard. You'll sympathize with terrorists, but like nobody who was born in Israel who has these equally awful views. Like, I'm just not trying to sympathize with either of them, but you're sympathizing with one specific side for some reason.
His wife is literally denying that Israel consistently commits war crimes. Like, come on, man. Of course they're going to call your wife a Zionist. Come on. Jesus.
And you're denying the same thing. You're denying the Hamas attacks, the rapes, the attack on the civilians at the rave, the music festival. I don't know if she specifically did, but Frogan did, who she associates with. So how was that any fucking better than what his wife said, who has family in Israel, who is from Israel?
In favor of an Iraqi terrorist cell?
Jesus. I bet people who've spent the past 50 years taking a seized house in Jerusalem and turning it into a peace center for Muslims, Christians, that's not what we're talking about. I mean, I've literally played videos from Israelis who've talked about the fact that they recognize the harm that the IDF and that their government...
Also, like, Hamas commits war crimes on their own people, too.
Like, gets up to. And that they immediately decided that they could not serve in the IDF, that they said, discharge me dishonorably, I don't care, put me in prison, I don't fucking care. I'm not going along with this, like, I'm not going along with this. Like, that's, what the fuck? Like, no, that's not cool. No, actually, I won't be part of your fucking genocide against these people. And I try my best, as often as I can, when I see content like that, when I see videos from objectors from Israel who noticed and were able to see past the propaganda that they've been taught their whole lives, that Israel is committing a genocide against Gazans, against Palestinians. I try to raise those voices up because I want people to see, no, like, there are a lot of Israelis that try their best, that recognize the shit that their government is up to. In the same way that, like, not every fucking Americans didn't deserve 9/11. America deserved 9/11. There are so many Americans that are aware of all the shit that their government's up to.
Americans didn't deserve 9/11. America deserved 9/11. Sorry, how the fuck are you supposed to separate those two? Who the... How are you going to say, I don't want anybody to die. I'm against violence. I just want peace. But you think America deserved 9/11? You think anyone deserves 9/11? How is that better than anybody saying Israel has a right to defend itself? Again, this is similar to saying, like, that's like similar to saying, like, Israel deserved October 7th, which I'm sure these people would agree with. And they'd just be like, well, not the civilians, but it actually didn't happen to civilians. Or Israel attacked its fucking self. These are the crazy comments that people are outraged about for Twitch not doing anything for. But meanwhile, they'll ban people like Asmongold, but they won't ban people who say crazy shit like this. America deserved 9/11. Or Frogan liking tweets that say, deny the Hamas rapes, the Hamas music festival attack, and saying Israel attacked itself. Like, which one is it, first of all? You're just clearly liking any conspiracy that's pro-Hamas. And this is the problem.
Up to. They're aware of the number of coups that America has done in all over the world, right? Just because you're an American doesn't mean that, like, you think, yay, I love American supremacy and America should bomb the fuck out of everywhere. No. It's the same thing. And I want to raise up voices of Israelis who are conscientious objectors, because it takes a lot of courage. And I don't think every Israeli is fucking evil. That's stupid. But I do think that there are some fucking Zionist freaks, like your wife, which is, she is a Zionist. She literally denies that Israel commits war crimes, despite there being an incredible amount of evidence from third-party organizations, from the UN, from Amnesty International, showing that Israel commits war crimes. To deny that is like, I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying, man. It's crazy.
People are saying Israel does that on the daily.
Denims, you need to consider Ethan's feelings. This is about him, after all, not the genocide. Oh, you're right. You're so right. This really is such a good summary of, like, this is such a good summary for, like, everything Ethan has been up to in the past, I don't know how long. All right, back to the video. Also, yeah, there's literally former IDF soldiers that get out knowing the fucked up things that happen and turn against Israel. I mean, I think for a lot of people, if you get told, like, think about it. You're born in Israel, born and raised in Israel. You've known nothing but Israel. You only have Israeli citizenship. And you join the IDF and you go on, like, I don't know, a drive out. And one of your IDF buddies fucking snipes a kid and starts laughing about it.
First of all, why are you assuming that people are sniping kids and laughing about it? And, if they are sniping kids, are you talking about the fucking child soldiers that Hamas and the Houthis use? Are you talking about those kids? The fucking child soldiers that these people that you prop up as so great, like, recruit children for war. Again, I'm not saying that there aren't Israeli soldiers, IDF people, and the people in charge who have done fucked up things, but there are plenty of them who haven't either. So, and then to just, like, pretend like Israel is the only ones, like, doing bad things in these wars is delusional and very naive. When again, like, Hamas and the Houthis are using child soldiers and cutting off aid to their own country, hurting their own people, causing civil wars in their own countries, executing gay people. But that's okay.
I think a lot of people would see that and say, what the fuck? Are we the baddies? Are we the baddies? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Right?
Oh my God.
And there are a lot of people that are going to see that and be like, yeah, base, kill the enemy, yeah, woo. And obviously a lot of it is like life circumstance, what's around you, what you...
Bitch, you know nothing about war. And I don't either, but I'm not fucking pretending to and making these fucking ignorant comments about soldiers. Like, shut the fuck up. Like this Frogan bitch saying, like, the soldiers deserve PTSD and wishing it upon them. Like, Jesus. You guys are so fucking ignorant and naive and live in your little bubbles. I'm sorry, but it's fucking true. And it's like, it sounds retarded.
You see, etc. But like, for all of the people who see crazy shit, who see the fucked up shit that happens, that is encouraged by the state, I mean, I think those voices should be lifted up. Probably there's people in here who know about American troops that have been stationed overseas that have seen fucked up shit that people in their own, like, squad or whatever have done. And then recognize, oh wow, this is why people hate America, huh? It's not people like me who think we're doing the right thing. It's the people who see other people doing fucked up shit and say and do nothing.
You know, like, Hasan brought a Houthi on his stream and interviewed him. How about you bring a fucking American soldier on your stream and actually get some perspective from them instead of putting words in their mouth? But no, you won't do that. You would never do that. You'd rather put a fucking terrorist on your stream and interview that kid and just take him for his word and not ask him any critical questions.
Anyways, moving on to the next part of this video. Let's go.
Children's life, okay? And this is a guy someone who I consider a friend, is talking about how cute and funny and awesome he is. Well, the immediate reaction to this was our subreddit getting mobbed by Hasan fans and probably snarkers, overwhelming the comments, overwhelming it. Now, here's what they say. Top comment. This dude isn't a Houthi. He literally said it in an interview with Hasan. Like, how fucking obtuse are you, seriously? Like, David Duke says he, you know, he's not a Klan member and he doesn't actually hate black people. It's like, okay, so I guess he doesn't. Like, are you fucking dumb? Okay, I'm getting too emotional.
Literally, though. That's like what the fucking alt-right says. Nick Fuentes says, I'm not racist. I'm Christian. I love all people. Oh, did you hear that? Nick Fuentes, you know, he says he loves all people. He's a Christian. He's not racist. Duh. Like, he said so himself. That's how you sound. That's how these people sound.
I'll calm it down. But yeah, obviously, he's in a Houthi. He literally said it to Hasan. Okay, great. Also, this is the part that they go after. This tweet is fake. Just like Ethan, you morons have been duped. Now, I'm thinking to myself, I saw this tweet. I remember it. This is a real tweet. What's going on?
She said that earlier. I don't think I ended up playing it, but in that last video I played, I ended up skipping to this one. She said, like, oh my god, Ethan always gets duped. He always falls for this bait.
On here. Then people uncritically start accepting it. Wait, for real? Jesus Christ, the misinfo is nuts. Then they respond, yes, and psychophants that are willing to believe Muslim Arabs are inherently evil will
I know it's totally irrelevant, but psychophants.
fall for this, like Ethan.
Sorry.
Now, excuse me. I said this kid's a piece of shit and all you heard is Arabs are evil. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, why is that what you heard? Continuing, here's a Hasan. Both of these, yeah, this guy's a Hasanabi head flare. Honestly, it's really sad watching Ethan slip into this rabbit hole and showing his bias. Brings back memory of that Forsaken Leftovers episode when you wouldn't even engage
This is the definition of being too online? Yes. Yes. There's a reason when I like end my stream, I don't like touch any of this shit. Like, it does bad things to your brain to do this. I mean, you look, fucking,
Well, that's probably why you're not as successful as Ethan Klein, maybe? Dude, this is his fucking career. He's been on the internet forever. This is his career. He's huge. This is what he does. And I understand, like, yeah, you can be, like, too online and get too wrapped up in all of this, but this is kind of like a specific thing. People are booing him, attacking him, putting wish they would commit Suicide Squad posts about him. This is totally valid for him to comment on and address. And you're just gaslighting him. I hate, like, gaslighty behavior like this. Like, acting like he's the fucking crazy one. It's really gross.
have the human trials on display. It is Ethan Klein on display for the rest of us. This is why you get the fuck offline. Don't do this shit all day, all night. Especially, I think it's a little bit different also as like a viewer, because it's like, you're not gonna get, I think, terminal brain rot as like someone who watches like the equivalent of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, right? But if you're stalking like your name on Twitter and you're checking tweets, anyone who's mentioning you on Twitter, and you're watching every like hate video on you, and you're checking your subreddit being like, so many Hasan people in here, like, you need to stop. Like, this is not good for you. I don't do this shit. I see haters and I'm like, okay. Rent free, I guess. I'm not watching this shit. I got better things to do. I got friends that want to play some video games, dude. I gotta go call some people in my Valorant game morons, alright? Like, come on, man. Be real. Be fucking real. Alright, I got like stuff to bake. I made pie the other day, guys. I made this sick, nasty
be real.
Lemon custard pie with like a strawberry combo on top. It was sick.
Oh wow,
really
she made
good.
a pie. Really cute. Bitch, how are you gonna make a pie when Palestine's getting bombed? What the fuck? No one gives a fuck about your pie. Palestine's getting bombed right now.
Yeah. I made donuts the other day, dude.
Jesus, I'm trying to skip over the shit. I don't give a fuck. Oh, my keyboard died. Yeah, that's why. Alright. I don't give a fuck about her fucking donuts. Bitch is annoying.
That's donuts. Alright. My oven's broken, but I want to bake so bad. Oh, I'm sorry for you, man. Fuck. Drop the recipe, queen. I might have to. I might have to drop the recipe, because the recipe was pretty nasty. It was pretty sick nasty. I have shit I have better things to do with my life, not fucking this.
This is misinfo. Tweet this. Moving on to the next one. I did a tiny bit of research, and I found the archive, thankfully. I would have lost my mind if I didn't, because I swear I saw it. Here's the tweet. It happened. The execution that we will carry out on all Zionists. Here it is, from this kid, July 23rd, 2024.
The original
tweet. He's banned on all social medias, and there's a reason for that. It's because he's a fucking terrorist.
From the adorable little pirate.
Does that surprise anybody? I said, so now that we've proven it's real, I suppose we'll see a lot of apologies and corrections
Of course, we did not see that. But kind of what continues to shock me is, you know, people on the left are so hypercritical of MAGA people being like divorced from reality, not listening to reason, and not acknowledging facts, and kind of just thinking, and whatever they think is real, they speak, and it becomes real. That's literally what just happened in that chat.
Oh yeah, I also wanted to say, when she's talking about like the IDF like celebrating when they like sniped a like a kid, which is a total assumption on her part. Like this isn't even like she's not referencing a specific story. She's just assuming that there's like IDF soldiers that are like sniping Palestinian children and like celebrating like, yeah, I got a child. But there's no mention of on October 7th, all of Palestine like cheering in the streets. And some of the Twitch streamers, like some American Twitch streamers also cheering it on. So how is that any fucking better than this hypothetical situation that you just made up when there's actual video and tweets and proof of people celebrating October 7th? Like, it's just such a clear double standard.
I posted something that was true, and because it went against their dogma, they swarmed our subreddit to accuse me of lying with zero evidence, and people uncritically believed them. That to me is disturbing, and that to me is dangerous. Here's a post that again doesn't have a lot of engagement, but I was struck by the fact that it had minus likes. Excuse me. As I said, I'm getting over something nasty.
Is he beefing with a Yemeni teen, being rightfully very angry about what Israel has done to his society? You don't understand, dude. Only Israel has a right to defend itself.
Hear how she worded that, or at the chat worded that. Beefing with a Yemeni teen. And again, we're going to get into, Ethan is going to show the evidence that this isn't just some innocent Yemeni teen. It's stupid. Beefing with a Yemeni teen. Like, talk about minimizing this entire situation. Gaslighting. This is fucking gaslighting.
Okay? If you're mad that Israel bombed the shit out of your country and killed many of your friends and family members, and you think that Zionists who think that it's okay to bomb random brown buildings are bad and they should die, you're actually the worst person alive. 2 downvotes showing to everyone. You guys don't understand. It's -4 downvotes. This is my own community. The consensus, I should take the anti-Semitism and keep moving. Stop complaining. I dare you to say that to any other movement. Let's read the comment. So all hate speech and threats of violence are fine because there's other horrendous violence. It's okay for everyone to post violent hate speech because violence exists. Please explain. Things can be bad without there being a comparison. It's not a zero-sum game. I don't want atrocious cruelty and violence, and I don't want hate speech all over social media. I'm okay. I'm being downvoted because I guess you guys are okay with seeing people that threaten to kill and spear people alive. All hate stuff is bad, and apparently a controversial opinion. This world is so fucked. Okay, he got downvoted because he was being annoying, okay? That's why he got downvoted. Because in a conversation about a genocide, this random fucking Reddit user decided to be a Redditor.
Oh my god.
And say, oh, so let me get this straight. All violence is fine. We are fine with violent hate speech now. Unbelievable. Like, what the fuck? Yes, actually, there is no difference between good things and bad things. And Ethan Klein, the victim that he is, the consensus is that I should just take the anti-Semitism. What happened anti-Semitism? It's the anti-Semitism in the room with us. Is it in the room with us? Blanking Frida, thank you for the sweet message. Thank you for the 16 months.
So
maybe it's your own
funny.
community, Ethan Klein. Maybe it's your own community. A literal survivor of genocide by American bombs. Maybe I'd be a little bit radical too. The fact that the kid isn't anti-Semitic is a display of unbelievable empathy by him. It's just stupid, dude. It's just so...
The fact that he's not anti-Semitic, wow. Such a hero. This kid is such a fucking hero. You know, there's only like videos and pictures of him taking over ships and hostages and kidnapping like innocent just people like working on boats in the trade routes, and nobody knows where these people are now. These people are missing. But he's just an innocent Yemeni teen. He's not anti-Semitic. No. Ah. And he's so dreamy, too.
Oh, dumb. It's just double standards and total hypocrisy. Ethan is stuck on the idea that everyone who criticizes Zionists online are actually secretly talking about Jews. And it's like, that's not what's happening. If Ethan doesn't want to believe that this guy isn't a Houthi, why should I believe Ethan when he says that he's not a Zionist?
This person
Well
said,
put.
so all the hate speech and threats of violence are fine because
Well
there's other
put.
horrendous violence. It's okay for everyone to post violent hate speech because violence exists. Please explain. Hate's going to be bad without there being a comparison. It's not a zero-sum game. I don't want atrocities, cruelty, and violence, and I don't want hate speech all over social media. Being downvoted because I guess you guys are okay with seeing people threaten to kill, spare people alive. All hate stuff is bad is apparently a controversial opinion. This world's so fucked. And this person was getting downvoted. And it's like, dude, this is in my own community. The consensus is, again, there's a famous clip of him calling the West Bank a Palestine terror city. I'm not sure what that.
Okay, I'm skipping forward a little bit. There's this. I thought Ethan said he wasn't a Zionist. Right, fuck Zionist. For real, fuck Zionist. He is. I mean, there's a famous clip of him calling the West Bank and Palestine a terrorist city. And then Ethan says he has no idea what this clip is. And he's willing to address anything, but he has no idea. He's never said that. So, yeah, this is everybody calling Ethan Klein a Zionist. And then liking the posts of, this is how we will execute all Zionists. Also calling his wife a Zionist. He has children. So this is his fucking problem. And then everybody's gaslighting him and calling him fucking crazy. And the problem, he can't figure it out because he has never supported the IDF. He's never justified the genocide. And they're still calling him a Zionist. So he is equating that to anti-Semitism. And I don't blame him, to be quite frank. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead here to... Here he goes over some of the FBI statistics on hate crimes and like the Jewish population in America makes up like 2%, but they're like number 2 in hate crimes or something, which I can understand. My mom has worked at a Jewish community center for like over a decade now, and I have worked there myself at their summer camp that they have in the summers. I've been a photographer. I've been like a specialist there, working there. And the amount of bomb threats they get is crazy. Almost once a year, they have to evacuate the building because of bomb threats. And I've talked to many of these people. They've experienced lots of anti-Semitism in their life. This is a thing. So I've also just seen it in my own life. People, white people get comfortable around other white people making these comments. And they don't always realize. I actually remember this one funny confrontation. This guy, he was like a fucking... He's just all kinds of bad news, him and his family. And he was talking to this other kid. He didn't realize he was Jewish. And he let him go on and on and on, making all these anti-Semitic comments. He was like, oh, I'm Jewish, by the way. It was kind of funny. But yeah, like this shit exists. So just to be like, oh, well, I don't care about it, because of kids are getting bombed in Palestine right now. It's like, okay, that's bad, but this shit's bad too. And that's what Ethan is saying. It's like all of this is excused because of what's happening in Palestine. When these people have nothing to do with that. But you're equating them to that, and calling them Zionists. So it really doesn't make sense. So I'm going to skip to this one clip.
Chinese woman who's a hijabi in the United States of America.
All Arabs, Habibi. She was joking. I don't remember. But everyone there knew it was a joke. No one there actually thought that Ethan Klein hates Arabs. For you to take that so seriously, like, grow up. Oh my God, man.
This channel, instead of, having a word with her about, what's going on, he actually chastised me. For what? Let's see.
Ethan is very frustrated and very emotional in this moment, but doesn't recognize that, like, perhaps a Lebanese woman who's a hijabi in the United States of America could also be very emotional in this exact same moment. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's so... And the reality of the matter is, anti-Semitism is an unacceptable form of bigotry, whereas Islamophobia is a very acceptable form of bigotry. So being the bigger person in the situation, regardless of your feelings...
So anyway, and God forbid you actually read the chat. But what I'm hearing, frankly, is that anti-Semitism is not really an issue, and so you shouldn't. Your complaints are less equal than Frogan's complaints because Islamophobia.
Somehow from this, Ethan got Hasan said Jews don't matter.
Is more serious than anti-Semitism, despite, by the way, the fact.
That's crazy that that's what you got from that. That's crazy that that's what you got from that. Wow, that's insane.
Yeah,
That is
he's
crazy. That is literally crazy. It's a clip of him
He's
saying
literally crazy.
anti-Semitism alive and well, Islamophobia alive and well.
When
He's actually fighting ghosts, huh? He's actually just like fighting shadows. If it is true that the leader of Hamas Sinwar has been killed, I hope that the Biden-Harris administration will use it as a time to declare victory and end the war with the mastermind of October 7th killed. Hamas leadership has now been extirpated. Ceasefire and hostage deal now. Fucking Mike, dude. Fucking Mike tweets, dude. Thank you for saying that. He believes all of us on Snark are haters, but we're actually just his lost fans. We just want
is anti-Semitism is an unacceptable form of bigotry, whereas Islamophobia is a very acceptable form of bigotry. So
again, her problem with Islamophobia is worth listening to. It's very real, and we have to listen to her. And frankly, she can't really do anything wrong. It seems like no matter what, because she's emotional.
All right, so now Ethan starts to get into this Houthi kid that he had on his stream.
Not now, Ethan. Do you think it's not? So I'd like to
Yemenis.
explore that.
Sorry about that.
Bit trying to make sense, but we're getting there. We're getting there. If you guys want to look, the whole FBI census was posted recently, the new one, and it's interesting. I mean, check it out if you're interested. But yeah, FBI crime stats on USA, telling people that anti-Semitism doesn't matter must be awesome and nice when literally you don't care. Do you think it's normal? So now the question goes to like, so first they said the tweet was fake about the pike, the killing Zionists with a pike. Okay, that's proven real. But then they say, well, he's not a Houthi pirate. He's just like a cool, awesome Yemeni kid who's kind of just like good kid, Mad City or whatever.
Sam, thank you so much for the prime.
Kendrick reference. Not now, Ethan. Do you think it's not? So I'd like to
Yemenis.
explore that accusation that he is not a Houthi. Okay, let's look at some of the evidence. Here he is with the AK and combat fatigues. Now in poverty-stricken Yemen, do you think it's possible to get Yemeni? Thank you, Yemeni, not Yemenis. Do you think it's possible? Or do you think it's likely
The Islamic Yemenis.
to get an AK or automatic assault rifle in Yemen, poverty-stricken, if you're not affiliated with the Houthis? I mean,
Yeah, so I watched this documentary. This guy went to Yemen, and they do sell guns everywhere there, and like almost everybody is walking around with a gun. But like an AK is $1,000 there, and there is a lot of poverty in Yemen. When he was going around asking people what's the biggest problem, besides the civil war going on with the Houthis that were cutting off aid and kidnapping aid workers that were trying to help the famine there, they say that it's money. It's expensive to live there, and a lot of them are very poor. So this innocent Yemeni teen just walking around with all this military gear or whatever and an AK isn't associated with the Houthis. And this is not just the only evidence. There's way more than just this picture of him.
Houthis, guns are expensive as fuck. And it's kind of surprising. Dude, and I just continue, dude, there's so much evidence this dude is Jew-hating terrorist.
I have to show the tweet. I have to show it. I'm sorry, but I have to show it. I'm pulling it up. I didn't know that it was gonna be worthwhile, but man, I have to show it, dude. Siri, pull up the photo. You know the one, Siri. To understand that, like, there is a difference between bad people having guns and good people having guns. Which I'm not even gonna unpack the details of that, but we'll just go with that. And then pull up a photo of someone with a gun and being like, see, they're obviously bad. As if there aren't literally photos of both you and your wife having guns. Your wife in this photo arguably being worse. Because, like...
Okay, so this is the tweet that she brought up. Everyone in Israel has to serve in the IDF. Which, again, is, like, another point. Because they'll always say, like, oh, we don't care about Israelis. We don't care about Jews. We just care about people in the IDF. When everybody in Israel serves in the IDF. So, Ethan Klein, when occupation soldier, please marry me. Ethan Klein, when civilian teenager owns gun, terrorist. And again, like, there's way more evidence that he is involved with the Houthis than just this picture of him with an AK. But yeah, serving in the Israeli military, serving in the IDF, because you have to if you're an Israeli citizen, is much different than joining like a terrorist organization that is in a civil war with your own fucking country. These are not just people of Yemen fighting Israel. This is a terrorist organization that is hurting their own country, is in a civil war with their own country, kidnapping aid workers that are trying to help the famine in their own country. These aren't good people. You can have a problem with the IDF, but if you're gonna have a problem with the IDF and not have a problem with people like this kid or Houthis, then what the fuck is wrong with you?
She's told about her time in the IDF.
Just say you support the Houthis, stand on your shit. Again, I respect that. Just say you support the Houthis, which Hasan does, and we'll get to that. But so here he is with a rifle, and again, okay, maybe he found that. I don't know how you get a high-powered rifle in Yemen without being affiliated with the Houthis, living in Houthi territory, but maybe he found it. I don't know. Here he is on top of a boat. Ship. We bombed a ship. This is him on a boat.
Actually, I'm gonna leave this big for
that
now.
was commandeered by Houthis. Here he is. This is a translation that it wouldn't translate for me in the pictures, but feel free to do it.
Okay, hold on. Let me fix this really quick. I'm gonna leave this big for right now because I think it's important. Okay, so yeah, let me go back.
Here, boat.
Here's a picture. Sorry, it's like not very clear. This video isn't very clear. Ship. We bombed a ship. Look at her face. Yeah, so?
In the sea that was commandeered by Houthis. Here he is. This is a translation that it wouldn't translate for me in the pictures, but feel free to do it. It says, ready to sacrifice, longing for martyrdom on top of a pirated vessel. Maybe he's talking about, maybe he's talking about something else. I don't know.
He finally got tired of harassing Hasan's mod and went direct. Yeah.
Longing for martyrdom, ready for sacrifice. Who knows? Maybe he's talking about something else, you know? It's possible, right? Here he is singing a little ditty on TikTok that goes, do you threaten us with what we are waiting for, son of a Jew? Nice little ditty there. Once again, clearly.
Son of a Jew. He's not just identifying Zionist people, is he? But, you know, he clearly only means Zionist guys. He's not anti-Semitic. No, this guy who bombs ships. We must trust what he says.
Making a healthy distinction between Jews and Israelis. But just because he told Hasan through a translator once that he doesn't hate Jews, just Zionists, we're going to give him a pass. He's a good kid. And actually, we should prop him up. He's awesome. He's hot, by the way. Cute kid.
So weird.
So that's good.
Weird. That's so fucking weird. You're a gaslighting bitch. Shut the fuck up. Like, it's not cute. It's not funny.
That's fucked up. And now I'm giving myself a note to look at.
And I can say all this stuff because she doesn't care about her haters, right? She doesn't watch any of this stuff when she gets offline. So she doesn't watch hate videos. She doesn't watch any criticism of herself. So I don't feel bad saying anything about it, right? She doesn't care.
We're at 12. One moment.
I'm just stating my opinions.
Here he is. Now here, this is from a story. This is from the interview.
Let me just discuss that screenshot that we just saw for 2 seconds. One, I am honestly genuinely shocked that anyone under occupation and anyone who's had to deal with the state of Israel has managed to come out unscathed by bigotry and is not become anti-Semitic. When the people...
The fucking sympathy. How do you know he's not anti-Semitic? He just said, like, death to anybody who's son of a Jew or whatever. Why are you taking his fucking word? Again, like, we would never do this for somebody like Nick Fuentes, who says, no, I'm not racist. I'm a Christian. I love all people. And just believe him. We would never do that. But you do that for this kid for some reason. Sorry, he's not a kid. He's a young man who bombs and kidnaps people on ships. But oh no, I don't want anybody to die. I don't want any violence. I just want peace. Explain that. Somebody fucking explain it, please. It makes no sense. And then you call Ethan crazy over this shit. He's not crazy. He's totally valid here. And you're gaslighting him. It's really disgusting.
Who consistently, routinely bomb your schools, your hospitals, your buildings, your homes, kill your family and friends, declare you animals that need to...
This guy's in Yemen, by the way.
...to be fucking put down and the children of darkness. And the last thing that they see before their fucking neighborhood collapses is like a bomb with the Star of David on it. Yeah, I'm...
Before their neighborhood collapses, they're doing that to their own fucking neighborhoods. There's a civil war in Yemen with the Houthis. You fucking idiot. How are you supporting this kid who's involved in a civil war against his own people? But you have sympathy for him?
Honestly, genuinely not shocked that people would become anti-Semitic. Norm said it best. Does that mean, first of all, does that mean that anti-Semitism is okay? Of course not. Of course fucking not. But there is a huge difference between a 19-year-old who's doing what they think is right because they're trying to stand up against a apartheid state and you, a 40-year-old man, getting upset because people are being a little mean to you on the internet. Holy shit. That is insane. I'll let Norm take it from here. Also, the... yes,
Norm
of course, Arabic always
Finkelstein.
translates into English perfectly. Everybody knows languages translate perfectly into each other. Obviously.
Great,
Part
Norm
of their charter or
Finkelstein.
some official document of theirs says curse the Jews.
I don't get hot under the collar about those things. And not
Original, thank you so much for the tier
because I'm giving people a pass. Israel describes itself as a state of the Jewish people. Right. What do you expect these people? Have they ever met a Jew who was nice to them? I doubt it. And I remember my father, for him, my mother, every German was a Nazi. That they didn't meet other Germans. And so the Houthis, all they see of Jews is what Israel is doing to Gaza, Israel is doing to Lebanon, Israel is doing here.
Okay, so if that's their excuse for Israel, what's the excuse for why they're hurting their own people in Yemen?
Here, Israel's doing there. I can't.
Alright, so this is the end of this stupid video. I'm gonna go into the last video. This is the last video we're gonna watch tonight. It's part 2 of this. She's finishing Ethan's video, reacting to Ethan's video. Alright, okay, hold on, wait. Before we move over, let me just point something out because this is important. This is very important. So where did she end in this video? Around 106. You see that down here? 106.02. Right here. Under my little goat here, I'll have my broomstick point to it. Right here, 106.02. Shit. See 106.02 right there? Alright, so that's where the video ends. Let's see where she starts in this next video.
Hasan's reaction in response to it.
1:21:04. Okay, and I'm going to show you what she skipped over.
You know what?
So she goes through all this.
Okay.
She goes back to 58 minutes.
Kill these fucking terrorists. It's everywhere, and no one calls it out because it's acceptable, right? At no point is Hasan saying anti-Semitism is fake and it's not happening. At no point is he saying anti-Semitism isn't as important as Islamophobia. He's saying anti-Semitism is real. It happens. When it happens, mainstream media isn't allowed to pretend like it's not happening, or they're not allowed to encourage it. Islamophobia, on the other hand, you are totally allowed to, don't mess with the Zohan. the fact that that was I have no words. I have no words. Listen to how he reads it. Listen to fucking how Ethan Klein reads it.
In this situation, regardless of your feelings.
So anyway,
All right, so we already watched it. Like, she already went over this, right? So if I go through, let's see.
and it's being kind of, you know, in a case like this.
Which, like, if you're Ethan Klein and you're struggling to, like...
So, 59 minutes. See at the bottom here. Fuck.
I don't know, I guess, like, drink water and breathe. I assume his life is really hard. If you can come to that conclusion, you must be, like, operating with less than one brain cell.
You can see 59 minutes at the bottom down there. Okay, 101. Okay, so we ended at 106, remember? So she gets up to 102.
Mm-hmm.
103.
I can't believe he stayed up all...
Here.
I kind of wanted to watch... I wanted to catch up to where we were. He was just going on and on about, like, Houthis. It was, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of losing my mind.
Okay, so she says, I want to catch up to where we were. She ended the last video at 106. And then when she restarts it...
I can't believe he stayed up all night doing this. Like an insane
To
person,
catch
dude.
up to where they were...
Alright. Maybe around here?
As far as I can tell.
She jumps to 143. Because Ethan was going on and on about the Houthi in the last video, and she was losing her mind. So she skipped between 106 and 143. So we're going to go and watch that and see what she fucking skipped. And then we'll come back to this. I'm at 13 minutes.
They're going to pull...
So we're going to go to 106.
would step in and do something. He's interviewing a terrorist. And it's not that he's interviewing a terrorist, because I've seen Hasan try to deflect this, saying, oh, CNN reached me, BBC reached me, they want to talk to him, therefore it's real journalism. Hasan did not ask him one critical question. In fact, the opposite. It was a complete puff piece where he sucked him off, elevated him, was uncritical. And even in the moments of absolutely insane statements like this, he essentially covers for him and acts like ignorant.
Chinese people, but one of the captain was Chinese, and he did caught with them, and he danced the music with them, and he was vibing, so he likes him, yeah.
So, I mean, what...
Yes, he just admitted to being a terrorist who's hanging out with hostages. That's literally just what happened. And Hasan knows it. That's why he's laughing a lot and trying to deflect.
That's so crazy.
All right, hold on. I'm going to slow this down. So this is what she skipped over. This is that same teenager, or he's 20, the kid from Yemen, who isn't a Houthi because he says so, who doesn't hate all Jewish people because he says so, but makes all these crazy posts and makes a post about bombing ships, okay? This is Hasan having him on his show. And she skipped over this part.
Danced the music with them, and he was vibing, so he likes him, yeah.
So, I mean, what...
Yes, he just admitted to being a terrorist who's hanging out with hostages. That's literally just what happened. And Hasan knows it. That's why he's laughing a lot and trying to deflect.
That's so crazy.
Yes, it
So
is.
they're just chilling with the captains? Like, I don't understand.
You don't understand? Why would... Do you think anyone would just get access to hang out with, like, these hostages? Why would he be hanging out with hostages? I don't know. But Hasan does a good way of deflecting it and being like, oh, no, this is just funny, silly stuff. You know what I mean? Awesome. Moving on to the next part. Here's more terrorcore tweets, I like to call them, from our friend cute Luffy in IRL. There's a couple more for you guys to enjoy. This one is whatever. This one is the ships we bombed and sank. Okay, not him, because he's not a Houthi.
Israel falls. Wait for the new operation in Tel Aviv, the Jaffa drone, which no Israel defense can stop. The ships we bombed and sank. To every Zionist, I will put this in your stomach.
Houthi, but apparently they bombed and sank stuff. To every Zionist, I will put this into your stomach. It's him once again with an assault rifle, looks like an AK-47. So that's the second death threat he's made against Zionists, and of course, as we know that he loves in his song, "Son of a Jew, we will kill you." There's a healthy distinction here between Zionists and Jews, and therefore, why should I care at all that Hasan is propping up a dude who's threatening to kill Zionists, who clearly has no healthy distinction between the two? And he continues to blur the lines between people who say Zionist and people who mean like normal ass people who aren't fucking like genocide committers, and opening the door to rampant, blatant, open anti-Semitism of the guys using the slur Zionism, which has no fucking meaning, no definition, because it's so broad, it's so nebulous, it means nothing. And it can be employed 1,000 different ways, 1,000 different people, and people use it just as a matter of fact, like everybody knows what it means. People started calling Bernie Sanders and AOC Zionists. I forget why, but they did something that everyone perceived as being pro-Israel or something, and now they're Zionists. And you know, it's like, well, I know AOC's not a Zionist. You know what I mean? But according to him, we need to kill her. We need to put her on a spike. We need to put AOC on a spike, kill her, shoot her with a gun. That's what Hasan thinks is not a problem. Moving on. So I don't know. Is he affiliated with the Houthis? I mean, listen. At this point, I believe that it's impossible to deny. I do. I think it's impossible to deny that this kid is affiliated, deeply involved with the Houthis. He's on ships. He's blowing up ships. He's hanging out with hostages. He's walking around with guns, combat fatigues. There's enough evidence, all right, to at least be like, hey, you know what? Let's not fucking spike Zionists, okay? But no, his fans, here's what they do. They first call me a liar that the tweet's not real. Then, once the tweet's real, they say he's not a Houthi. So, also you're lying. There's no point to which reality catches up with these people. There's no point in which
All right, so I agree with him. Sorry, this is like a lot to go through, so I'm trying to speed through this. They go through the flag. The flag of the Houthis, of this kid, is Allah Akbar, death to America, death to Israel, curse the Jews, victory to Islam. This is their flag. They have around... Alright.
There's a common theme here.
Houthis sentenced 13 to public execution on homosexuality charges.
In Houthi-controlled Yemen?
Their Houthis are ramping up their abuses at home while the world is busy watching their attacks in the Red Sea. Said Niku Jafarnia? Sorry. A Yemen researcher for Human Rights Watch.
Here they are doing a Heil Hitler. Is there
There's the flag in the background.
any other explanation for this other than just doing Heil Hitler? Taking an oath of allegiance. They're just fucking another time Israel. See there. These are
What do you say?
And they're executing gay people publicly.
Taking
is
an
there
oath.
for explanation for this?
Participants take an oath of allegiance to the Houthi movement during a parade in a show of force amid a standoff in the Red Sea and U.S.-led airstrike. Houthi targets?
Other than just doing Heil Hitler. Taking an oath of allegiance to the Houthis.
Again,
Man,
this
it
is
certainly
all
looks like a
parts
Heil
that
Hitler,
she
but okay.
skipped of Ethan's video.
Maybe they're just fucking... Maybe it's just a coincidence. Terrorists is that they're only targeting Israeli-controlled ships. Another talk about you hear about these terrorists is that they're only targeting Israeli-controlled ships affiliated with Israel. In fact, Houthis are taking boats indiscriminately. They are terrorizing the entire sea there.
So that's another thing. They're trying to defend like the Houthis for, you know, well, they're only taking control of Israel ships. They're not. They're taking control of other trade ships too, and taking these hostages to, again, we don't know where these people are. So this kid is literally taking hostages, and these people are now missing, and he's joking about it on Hasan's fucking stream, and nothing happened. This is the problem that people are complaining about.
And once again, a huge number of these ships have nothing to do with Israel. Here, it's an excerpt from this BBC article. The Houthis initially said they were attacking ships connected with Israel, or headed to or from there. However, many of the vessels have no connection with Israel. Major shipping companies have stopped using the Red Sea, through which almost 15% of global seaborne trade usually passes, and are using a much longer route around southern Africa instead. So, once again, people run defense for the Houthis, Hasan included, saying, as I'll show you later, that they only target Israel ships. It's not true. Not only that, they board these ships, they take hostages, and then, guess what? They disappear. We don't even know where the fuck they are. They kidnap people. None of them Israeli, by the way. And apparently they hang out and have parties with this cute youth Houthi kid. But other than that, we don't know where.
Houthi rebels have launched more than 40 attacks on commercial ships since November. Wow. But we have so much sympathy for these people. We're so sympathetic for these people. They're just so brave that they've dealt with all of this their whole life, and you know, they're not anti-Semitic, and they just attack their own country and ships on trade routes. What brave people. But I'm not for violence. I'm not for anybody dying or disappearing. It makes no sense. They're not making sense. And it's stupid and it's bad. You should not be supporting these people. Supporting these people is not supporting the people of Yemen or Palestine.
Where they are. We don't know what they want. We don't know if they're alive. And it's just a fun game we like to play with the good guys over at the Houthis. Here's a CNN article about them imprisoning shipping crew hostages indefinitely. Let's take a look here, just for your enjoyment. Hope is fading for imminent return of the international crew of the cargo ship hijacked by Houthis in November. The senior Filipino diplomat saying he does not expect a release date until the war in Gaza is over. Houthi-owned helicopter hijacked the Galaxy cargo ship November 19 in the Red Sea. So yeah, they took these hostages. None of them are Israeli. In fact, I have a rundown of their nationality here. Hostages taken from the Galaxy.
None of them are Israeli.
The hostages comprise.
And like Hasan plays these videos of these terrorists and pirates hijacking these ships, and then supports it and defends it and says it's cool on his stream on Twitch. Hello. Here's the
workforce they have there.
This is about the aid workers being kidnapped in Yemen.
Here it gets better. The Houthis have been arbitrarily kidnapping aid workers helping in the famine in Yemen. There's a terrible famine happening in Yemen. Terrible, terrible humanitarian crisis. But the Houthis have decided to start arbitrarily kidnapping people who are there to help the humanitarian crisis. They're charity workers. And once again, just like the hostages, they're kind of just disappeared. They don't know where they are, what's happened to them, if they're dead, if they're alive, if they're safe. They just kind of took them, and that's that. This is a press release from the United Nations. Just to read a quote here. The target of humanitarians in Yemen, including arbitrary...
They warned that such actions would further hinder their ability to deliver critical humanitarian aid to millions of Yemenis in need. So how the fuck, why is Hasan, why is Denims, why is Frogan, why are these people supporting this kid who is a minimum Houthi affiliated, if not a Houthi, who are kidnapping aid workers of his own country and trade route workers, hijacking ships of people who aren't even Israeli? Why are you supporting this? Why are you having these people on your stream and propping them up and defending them and having sympathy for them as if they're helping these people? And then saying you don't like war, you don't like people dying, you don't like hurting people, you don't like violence. That's bullshit.
Detention, intimidation, mistreatment, and false allegations must stop. And all those detained must be released immediately, they stressed. So they're not, frankly, trying to help the humanitarian crisis happening in their country. And it's tragic. It really is. These are not good people. In fact, they're quite evil, it seems. So with all that being said, I feel like I've established that the Houthis are a terrible group of people. I'm sure there's a million other things I could say about them affiliated with Houthis. And actions. Let's take a look at some of them.
Okay, this is a stupid question. Okay, you can preface it with that. Does he know what One Piece is?
اول شيء بقول لك انه ممكن هذا السؤال يكون شوي اهبل بس بسالك تعرف شو هو ون بيس؟ عمرك سمعت بون بيس؟
اكيد يعني منذ الطفوله وانا اشاهد ون بيس لوفي.
Luffy? Yeah, he said he's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way!
Yeah.
That's sick. Yes. That's fire. That's so fire. Oh my god. We think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do. You should tell him that.
بقول لك حسن انه اللي
So this is a meme he's saying. The Houthi pirates are like Luffy. Luffy, of course.
We think the Houthis are doing like whatever this character is. It's like some brave whatever, I guess. This is not him. This is him supporting the Houthis. Obviously. I don't know how anybody could say otherwise. Yes, Houthis, go.
Is this irreverent, fun-loving, happy, lovable character who just wants to experience freedom on the high seas. And it appeals to youth, appeals to young people. And Hasan is working overtime to convince people that this child, who is a terrorist, not child, he's like 20. This kid who's a terrorist is just like Luffy. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I've only seen halfway through One Piece. I'm more interested in than so. Frankly, disgusting, in my opinion. It's shameful. Twitch should be ashamed. I don't know how he continues to show terrorists even the worst day. Right. That culture.
The One Piece one.
Yeah. Exactly. Now this kid is like, I think he was like 19 at the time when I talked to him, which means that for most of his life he has withstood, right?
Sure.
But he is a person whose only experience is like, it's literally like talking to fucking Anne Frank, basically. Okay, being able to talk to Anne Frank in real time.
Once again, I find this comparison insidious.
Okay, so she does react to this part. The Anne Frank thing. She tries to justify this by saying that people who are upset about this comment is basically like, saying that you're not allowed to have any other reaction than something like Anne Frank's and only be peaceful and not fight back and not have resistance. And that's not what people are upset about. They're upset about the comparison to him, this guy who hijacks ships and associates himself with the Houthis, and comparing him to somebody like Anne Frank, which it's just like, first of all, just the Nazis and Jewish people, comparing that to this terrorist kid and Israel, like the fight with this, like it's just inappropriate. It's wildly inappropriate to make that comment. They're nothing alike. Nobody is saying that if you're being genocided and attacked, you don't have a right to defend yourself. They're upset that he made that comparison. That it's like talking to this terrorist kid is like talking to Anne Frank. That is disgraceful. It's disgusting. It is a fucking stupid comment. That's why people are upset. So she defends Hasan's comment by saying like, oh, well, you know, he has the right to hijack ships and whatever because he's grown up in war, even though the group he's associated with is causing a war in his own fucking country. Why don't they fucking get that? There's nothing heroic or brave about these people. They are bad people. They're hurting their own people. They're not only fighting against Israel, they're hurting their own fucking people.
Yes, for a few reasons. First of all, I don't remember this page from Anne Frank's journal, but again, it's been a long time since I read it. I don't recall this picture of saying in a propaganda video, the kind of stuff that kind of reminds me.
So
without
again,
even seemingly a warning.
We're talking about the double standard. So most people might have seen this by now, but this is something that Hasan showed on his stream and didn't get banned for.
Here he is, shows Houthi terrorist propaganda video. The kind of stuff that kind of reminds me of like Al-Qaeda and ISIS propaganda videos that they would put out. That's just like, well, I'll show it. Here's Hasan. And once again, if he's commenting on it, if he's critiquing it, that's one thing. But he presents it and he walks out of the room. He presents it with zero critical analysis, just a full-on endorsement of this terrorist organization right here on Twitch.
Endorsement.
Now, I don't know if you remember, but
endorsement
basically
is a good
this is
way
what
of
caused
putting
the apocalypse on YouTube, is that ads were showing up next to ISIS videos. And here's Hasan their darling creator, who has tons of ads running on his channel, showing to his audience, who is willing to receive everything he's saying without much critical thought. No offense, but at least to the ones that were in the subreddit calling me a liar, that Houthis are awesome.
Yeah, like we took that fucking
2 weeks
Saudi
ago.
deal. You did? Oh yeah, me and XQC both.
Oh no, damn,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, we did. I'm sorry, I need the money.
Oh, you want to see a Houthi musical?
Sure.
These were the people that the Saudis were killing, by the way.
Zach,
just so you know, these fucking.
Sorry, the sound pack is falling off here.
It's falling off.
I'll just put it on the table. Actually, it's fine.
You want to see a Houthi music video?
Make sure it doesn't fall. Should I put it on the ground?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to see
Alright.
a Houthi
Is that
music
good?
video? Is what he
Yeah,
asks.
that's good. Here, let's continue.
And musically gifted individuals.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, I need the money, guys.
I'm gonna grab my food.
Let me read the words for you to enjoy. And once again, I feel that we should throw up. We disavow this video, Nate, because on YouTube, they actually don't allow terrorist propaganda videos to play. And I want to make it very clear
We do not care. We do not care.
that I actually do not condone this. I think these guys are terrorists, and they're dangerous, and this is dangerous propaganda, and I'm watching it for critical reasons. Is it up, Nate?
I agree with everything Ethan
Yeah,
says.
throw that up when I watch this, because frankly, I'm risking my ass watching this clip. Yeah, fuck the Houthis. So he introduces it as a fun Houthi.
So again, this is why people are upset, because Hasan can interview a terrorist, and endorse Houthi propaganda, terrorist propaganda on his stream, and have nothing happen to him. But when Asmongold makes a disgraceful comment, he's immediately banned. So we just want equal, consistent policy applied across the platform. This is why I will never stream on Twitch.
Musical.
Musically gifted individuals.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, I need the money, guys.
We do not care. We do not care. Make it a major world war. Great. Good messaging. Shooting, their heart longs for master rifles and assault rifles. Very good. Very cool. He gets up and leaves his poor friend there in the trenches, taking Houthi terrorism propaganda to the dome. And I've seen this clip, man. This poor guy has no idea what's going on. He's obviously not very savvy with politics. And this man just left him fucking like George Bush when he heard 9/11 happen. You know what I mean? By God, I forbid myself this life. Ask your excellence in your they're showing what's his name? MB, the king, the new guy of Saudi Arabia, the crown prince. Apparently they want to kill him. There was a war there, and they want to kill him, so that's why they're showing him. MBS? Yeah. Yeah, he's just talking about their military camp.
Ask the military hordes about us. We do not care. Wait.
Yeah.
About the day we took control of Al-Quba with an assault rifle. So the day they took over some city with assault rifles.
Yeah, he's just talking about their military campaigns. And this poor guy, I wish I had this at a higher quality. See. This poor
We do
fucking
not
guy is
care
like, what the
about
hell is happening right now?
Humvees and artillery.
They are, yeah. By the way, notice the age of these kids dancing with guns and rifles in the how old would you say?
True. These are the fucking child soldiers I was talking about earlier. I was like, oh, when you're talking about IDF like sniping children, this hypothetical that she just came up with, are you talking about the fucking child soldiers that the Houthis, the people you are defending, you know, put forth to fight? Like, think about what you're doing. Just think about who you're defending. These aren't good people. They have a civil war in their own country. Like, their own country does not support these people that you're defending from your cush house in America. And yeah, this poor guy in the corner, he's like, what the fuck is happening? This is not a music video.
Say these kids are here. To me, they look 15.
This kid in the middle
Just
looks
saying.
like 12.
The Houthis have child soldiers. They recruit them. They encourage them as part of their army. And he, terrible his life's been, but he's not even a child soldier at this point. He's like 20. Hasan comes back from the bathroom. We've now digested a minute and 10 seconds of unmitigated terrorist propaganda. Here they are holding up the signs, as I pointed out, that says death to Israel, curse upon the Jews, death to America, right there on display.
A 3-minute video of, what do you mean a music video? When you said music video, I'm expecting like, bad example, Chris Brown dancing, you know?
No, they do like, they do musicals. They're very musical people.
Are you being serious?
Dog, what do you, look, you think I made this?
Isn't I know they're singing, but I'm seeing just guns and shit. This isn't a music video, Hasan.
No, it is. They do musicals about like their fucking, like their actions all the time.
Yeah, that's called terrorist propaganda. They do it to package it in a nice way, to appeal to a broader audience. And Hasan is doing exactly their bidding, more than they could have ever dreamed of, by broadcasting this directly into the main line of Twitch.
Literally.
And they love walking over. They love walking over like the American flag and the Israeli flag side by side. They will always like march on it. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet.
We stormed Al Dude, Saudi military style.
Dude, just get the fuck out of America, please. What the fuck? These people never made me feel so patriotic in my life. Like, holy shit. This is... Yeah, so this is why people are upset. Because of the fucking double standard. Hasan's allowed to do this and share literal terrorist propaganda. And not only share it, but endorse it. To his huge audience. And nothing happens.
Again, they're just talking about their military exploits at this point.
We held the northern border like lions. They're talking about the civil war in Yemen, which Yemen is now divided into the north and the south because the Houthis started a civil war in their own fucking country and are kidnapping aid workers that are supposed to be helping the people in their country. Hello? Why are you supporting them? These aren't... Oh my god. I just sound like a broken record, but like seriously, it's just so crazy. And then these people are gaslighting Ethan and calling him crazy. It's really sad and disturbing.
He's saying they do not care about the heavy missiles. Like they will literally take the war to them no matter what.
Yeah, no, they're awesome.
Cool, bro.
And once again, sharing very supportive, flowery, supportive language about the Houthis, who, as I've shown, is a disgusting, vicious terrorist organization.
And again, I'm showing this because she skipped over this whole entire part. She didn't stream this part. Coincidentally, there's a word sorry. She didn't stream this part. Like, kind of luckily for her. I can't think of the word. But, it's very obvious that she didn't stream this because she has no excuse for this and she didn't want to confront it. Because she can't. But she'll still defend this.
Oh, for sure.
For them, it's an act of resistance. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
This poor guy, man. He did not sign up for this.
He's in OTK.
I was wondering who he is. He's pretty funny.
Yeah, Nick Pollum.
Is he a WoW player?
Back in the days, yeah.
What does he do?
Yeah,
so
I also took a McDonald's sponsor and I drink Starbucks.
Ooh.
I'm sorry.
Clips on YouTube. Him has emboldened him, in my opinion, to get a different country. Should I pull this up? Video once again with zero critical commentary. In fact, the opposite.
All right, and then here's the last video that she skipped over.
Blatant encouragement and enjoyment.
We have to, yeah, here it is. This is Rust. Bro, they fucking, look at this. They got the Palestinian flag that they painted under the helicopter with the Yemen flag. They fucking they start overtaking the ships. And they're like, guess what, dog? No more trade to Israel. If you're an Israeli, if you're owned by an Israeli corporation, or if you are actually sending ships to the Israeli port of, it's not Eilat, it's the other one that is now bankrupt.
It's Eilat that is suffering.
What was the other port? Haifa, right? Is it Haifa? Is Haifa the bankrupt one? Anyway, there's a lot of information. I can't recall all of it. But they go, if you are sending ships into Israel, if you are owned by an Israeli subsidiary, if you're owned by an Israeli corporation, we're going to take over your ship. You cannot fucking use this trade route anymore. Guess what, bitch? It's our fucking territorial boundary, and we're going to enforce this until you stop doing genocide in Gaza. Because they say it. They're like, listen,
The problem
we
so
don't
far,
like you.
of course,
We're not a fan of you.
is that
okay?
he's either wrong or intentionally lying. Although he's pretty savvy, so I have a hard time concluding anything but that he's intentionally lying. Because, of course, a huge portion of the ships that they've attacked, commandeered, have nothing to do with Israel. And I'll also say Israeli imports are slightly affected, but totally fine. West Africa and poor countries like that are the ones being hardest hit by this terrorism, raising the cost of foods on the poorest countries that need it the most, and limiting their access to. But the problem here is, of course, that he's just straight up lying. They don't just target Israeli ships; they're attacking everybody, and that's called terrorism. And apparently, as long as you put a Palestinian flag in your terrorist propaganda video and say you're doing it on behalf of them, you get a pass. In fact, the Palestinian cause is an important cause, one that I support. As I've said, I've donated, I support, I desperately want the war to end, and I'm heartbroken by all the tragedy I see there. But certainly, I don't see how this is helping anybody.
No, it's not.
And of course,
It's
he's lying. He's
hurting
doing
them.
hoopy propaganda by lying about what they do and who they are.
This is a group of people that are like, no, we care about the Palestinians. We don't want you bombing them. So we're going to fucking take action. And we're going to try to punish you.
Yeah, they care about the Palestinians and the people in Yemen that they started a civil war with and kidnapped their aid workers and are causing all this harm in the seas that isn't even affecting Israel. It's affecting the poorer countries. So you're fucking ignorant and stupid. You're not brave, you're not heroic, you're not helping anybody. This is disgusting. You're hurting people.
Economically, to the best of our ability.
You know, you're convincing Americans to support these terrorist groups. Like, that's why people are upset.
And by God, they started doing that, and they were doing it real well. So they started taking over these ships. They started targeting the ships.
Appreciate
If you pass
the
through,
flowery
they communicate
language.
with you,
He
they're like,
loves
hey, where
it.
you going, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And if you're trying to get in there, we're going to fucking bomb you.
Are there people on this helicopter right now?
Yes. What do you mean? Of course there are people on this helicopter. What do you think, it's a fucking drone?
Kind of, from this angle.
No, there are people on this helicopter.
Bruce,
This is
by
like
the
a
way,
hostile
Bruce,
unit
Sean,
streaming?
it does kind of look like a drone. Just saying. It was a reasonable question.
Yeah, they're flexing.
Here they are boarding the
They're
ship.
coming in hot with guns.
Yeah, but you have to understand, this
Literally,
is a distraction, right? So, like, their
a
goal
fucking
is to
CSGO campaign. I feel like there's one of these maps for sure.
Modern Warfare, yeah.
Modern Warfare. Play.
And show it to the world, so like other companies that don't want to risk having this happen to their product, having this happen to their ships, literally are like, okay, we're not going to use the trade route anymore. All of a sudden, if you don't use the trade route, trade gets more expensive for the West. All of a sudden, if you can't use that
It's
trade route,
expensive for everybody.
the Israeli port
Once
is going to
again,
get banned.
a totally ridiculous reading of the situation. It doesn't just get expensive for the West. And the West can afford it. The West, you know what I mean? It's the poorer countries, the West African countries, that it gets expensive for, that it hurts them way more. And in fact, like I said, Israel imports are relatively fine.
Bankrupt. Israel is not going to be able to get the materials in time that they need for waging their war. Israeli society is going to start getting upset. They're going to be like, I can't get my treats. I can't get my Amazon Prime deliveries. What the fuck is going on? I hate this. Israel sucks. I'm leaving Israel. That's the goal.
But again, I just have to comment, just kind of almost as an aside, but getting people to leave Israel, like 80% of the people in Israel are citizens who were born there. They don't have anywhere to go. This is part of the fucking problem with this conversation that I have to explain to people. The Israelis cannot go back to Europe. There's literally nowhere else in the world for them to go. As I said, Elo's parents were born in Israel. So it's like, you know, the country's been there almost, you know, coming up 100 years. They, like 80% of the people were born there. Okay, who's leaving? And I guarantee you the people in Israel would love to leave if they could. I'll tell you, I've known a lot of Israelis who are able to...
This is like, this would be like at this point, it's like, oh, you know, everybody in America should just get out and give Native Americans back their land. Like, okay, give your home to a Native American then. Like, yeah, it's fucked up, but at this point, I don't know, it's crazy, it's stupid, especially because the people that are fighting these things are terrorists that aren't even helping their own people. I've said this like a million times at this point. So yeah, so we're at 140 now. So this is where she starts the stream back up again. We're almost done.
And on about like Houthis. It was, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of losing my mind. I can't believe he stayed up all night doing this. Like an insane person, dude.
The gaslighting.
All right. Maybe around here?
As far as I can tell, even worse, in an already terrible situation. And Hasan is here, running cover for them, whitewashing them, making them palatable to a general audience in the West. And all of this, once again, reminding you of their flag. It says, "Death to Israel, curse upon the Jews." All of this contributes to a rising sense of anti-Semitism, of unsafeness that Jews feel around the world. And this, once again, blurring...
It is really crazy within the context of, like...
So see how she's at 144 now? Right here where my little blue marker is, it says 144.12. So she skipped from 106 in her last video. And then she watches like a clip of 121 for like a minute. And then goes back to 144. So she skipped over reacting to every part of Ethan's video that we just watched. Which was pretty much the worst part of it. Because she won't confront that.
Like, you have a staff member who is Lebanese, whose wife's family has had to be has had to get evacuated because the country is now an active fucking war zone, and you're like, people are being really mean to me, and it's really unacceptable how mean people are being right now.
Line of the phrase Zionist with Jew. So there is that. Let's see what else we got here. And catch back up to my spot. Deleted this part.
Oh, is this the
And then, of course, the our lovely terrorist, cute terrorist here, was quick to embrace the meme. Now, I watched that interview with him. Even Hasan said in the fucking interview that he was surprised by how media trained he was. So why is everyone going to be like, oh, he said he's not a Houthi. He said he doesn't hate Jews. This man said in his interview he's surprised by how media trained he is. They know what they're doing. Propaganda. COVID of like random acts of violence in New York City and elsewhere.
In my mind. I can't believe he stayed up all night doing this. Like an insane...
Embrace the meme. Now, I watched that interview with him. Even Hasan said...
Is not a joke. Can you explain the they? A lot of like Nazis, neo-Nazis, anti-Semites will use they to talk about the Jew. Like his talking points in order. So like the Houthis are super anti-Semitic because of this flag. But also they never target Israeli ships or attack Israelis. So they're... What's happening here? I don't understand. Genuinely, I don't what...
It's because you're retarded. Obviously, he's saying death to Jews, kill the Zionists, blah, 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 from the river to the sea, blah, 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 blah. But Ethan is pointing out that they're not only attacking Israelis, they're attacking other people too, including their own. That's what he's saying. Do you understand now? Probably not.
Did you consider that Israel is based?
Fuck Israel. We are coming. We are coming. We're ready for anything.
Did you? I bet you didn't consider that.
He's being silenced because the American government is what yada yada and yada yada, corporate businesses, whatever. I mean, he was posting death threats against, he was posting death threats. So I think we can all agree that's probably a good thing there. So I don't know how many people still think this kid is awesome and cool, and, you know, let's keep hyping him up. He's the man. Hasan clearly believes that as early as yesterday. He compared, once again, a reminder, compared this kid to Anne Frank. Yes, Anne Frank, who, once again, important to say, has nothing to do with Israel. Think about how you do that in your brain, and you'll realize the problem. Anne Frank was in an attic with her family, hiding from Nazis. Her entire family, including her, were killed, except her dad. She wrote about like peace and philosophy, and all. She was a lovely young girl that wrote about lovely, beautiful thoughts in her diary. You know, she persevered through all of it.
Oh, you're only allowed to resist an occupation or attacks on your country by a military...
And this is what I was talking about, where she does this whole thing like, oh, you're only allowed to have sweet, nice thoughts. No, the problem people are upset about this comment is because he was comparing a literal fucking Houthi terrorist to Anne Frank, who did, despite being genocided herself, which is why you're justifying this kid's actions, she didn't behave like he did. But Hasan is comparing them. That's why people are fucking upset.
Power if you write nice thoughts about it and beautiful, lovely little thoughts. That's it. That's the... Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, dude, why didn't you tell me that? oh, you're not allowed to hate your oppressors and the people that want to colonize your regions and kill your family and
I can't listen to this. It's so disgusting.
Unrelated, but I think it's important. Actually, no, it's related. Fuck it. I'll say it's related. God damn it. Oh, let me download it. This is worth it. Stand by. Download blocked? What the hell? Let's do that. Okay. Once again, it's going to be worth it. Stand by. Thank you, Zach.
You could 100%, and I have done it, and I think other people should do it, and I think it's important to do, uplift voices from Israelis who are capable of recognizing that the IDF is an occupying force, the IOF, and that it frequently terrorizes, at the very least, let's just talk about Gaza and the West Bank, Palestinians, okay? Doesn't give a fuck if settlers commit violence against Palestinians at all. Doesn't intervene. We have like video footage of this. Frequent instances, by the way, of verifiable proof that Israeli guards have committed a number of atrocities against Palestinian prisoners. That there have been a number of Palestinian prisoners that have sat in prisons or in jails for years without fair trial. We have evidence of all of this stuff. All of this. And you can talk about the people in Israel who see this stuff and recognize that that we're the baddies and do everything that they can to try and help show other people what.
The difference is Ethan doesn't support the IDF. He doesn't justify the genocide. But you support Hamas and the Houthis and Hezbollah. And you justify their actions. You justify October 7th. Ethan isn't doing that for Israel. You're doing that for the terrorists, though. That is the fucking difference. That is the double standard. And that is what nobody fucking understands. Unless you're a crazy person. Alright, so I'm just going to skip over this. It's pissing me off too much. Let me see. This isn't really important. This goes into Ethan's exchanges he has with people online and all that. Let's get into the debunking rape thing, and then I'm gonna end the stream. Okay.
Plays into the stereotypes of Arab people from the West that they're somehow more lecherous than enlightened Westoids.
Yes. Can you imagine you are there to investigate sexual violence that has occurred to Israelis or has occurred against Israelis. And while you're there, you're like, whoa, we should investigate these as well. Like these Palestinian women are also being subject to this and being told, no, you're not allowed to do that. You're only allowed to investigate the brown people that are doing the sexual violence. And then it continues talking about exactly that. That there could be no doubt about what happened October 7th. Reports pointing to the reports finding that several bodies naked from the waist down were recovered. The report also indicated detention of Palestinians has been compounded by sexual violence. Nevertheless, she rejected the false equivalency between these actions and hostage taking by a foreign terrorist action. Incidents of sexual violence in Israel and the West Bank contained in the report add another horrific dimension to the tragedy unfolding in the Middle East. Noting that at least 2 widely reported allegations of sexual violence were unfounded, she urged all parties to act responsibly and avoid sensationalizing headlines. Like this report that you're fucking highlighting, Ethan Klein, literally says the opposite of what you wanted to say. They pushed it as if it was something systematic via the New York Times article, which was thoroughly debunked. Yep. And this continues going on and on and on, basically talking about how there are a lot of Palestinians that are actively being detained that are dealing with sexual violence. And it is very sad and depressing that we are sensationalizing headlines of debunked instances where rape did not occur, where sexual violence did not occur, instead of
sensationalizing headlines of debunked instances of rape where rape did not occur. And when she says debunked, she's referring to the fact that, rape is pretty hard to prove or confirm completely. So therefore it's debunked.
And instead of avoiding and not talking about the debunked instances, we're still talking about those, and we're not talking about the very real, verifiable, hard proof that we have of this happening to Palestinian prisoners. It also mentions that Israel doesn't even give full info to the UN. Yeah.
I follow the Church of all Denims, the same DNML.
So, yeah. None of these entities were invited today to present their findings. He pointed out extending an invitation for the special representative to visit Gaza. He pledged Palestine's readiness to cooperate. Council should demand that Israel do the same, since that country keeps saying that it has nothing to hide, he stated, adding, let the facts speak, let the law decide. Yeah. And here it talks about this. For decades, similar reports regarding sexual assault against Palestinians have not led to the convening of a single council.
Israel Katz, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Israel, criticized the United Nations for remaining silent about Hamas's horrible acts for too long. According to the Special Representative's report, the killings of innocent young men and women on October 7th were crimes against humanity. Against this backdrop, he called on the United Nations to declare Hamas a terrorist organization, citing the recognition of this status by numerous countries, emphasizing that Hamas does not speak on behalf of the Muslim world. He urged Muslim leaders to denounce the crimes committed by Hamas in this paragraph.
Meeting. He then recalled that Special Representative's mission did not seek to gather information or verify allegations in the occupied Palestinian territory so as not to duplicate the ongoing work of other UN entities there. Brian, kill me. Thank you for the dear one. TGI, thank you so much for the prime. Yeah. The reason why people call Kamala Harris's statement disinfo and lies, the reason why Hasan chuckles, is because the people that talk about Israel and the people that spend all of their time framing Hamas as evil as they can, or as evil as possible, they spend zero effort and time showing the verifiable evidence that we have that Palestinians in prison, that have been in prison for years, sometimes still awaiting trial, are frequent subjects of sexual assault and sexual violence. And none of that ever gets brought up. None of it ever gets brought up. Kamala Harris would never bring it up. Biden would never bring it up. But they are more than happy to talk about the mass rapes that are not happening, that have not been proven to happen. They're more than happy to sensationalize things that...
The mass rapes that have not been happening, that have not been proven to happen.
Haven't happened. Like the rapes that are in that UN report that were not able to be verified, that were debunked.
Oh. So, because a rape isn't verified, that means it's debunked? Okay, I guess that means that, like, no woman has ever been raped then, unless it's literally fucking videotaped? Because, by the way, people don't understand this, and I want to do a different stream on this topic specifically, but rape kits don't prove rape. They might prove that sex happened. They don't prove rape.
Also, they want us to focus on one day a year ago from Hamas and then just ignore the next 365 days about Israel? Yeah. And then use it as a way to say Israel should defend itself. Are you kidding me? Like, come on, dude. Are you fucking kidding me?
Kidding you. No,
one thing important to know, Palestinian authorities,
not a joke.
despite knowing their members have committed atrocities, always request independent investigations, even if they will be charged. Israel, on the other hand, would never accept independent investigation, and they wouldn't...
Don't care about her stupid commenters.
Brian, kill me. Maybe I didn't actually see it. And that's just totally okay. That's totally fine. You're just totally...
What rapes? Where did that go? We were just, I swear.
Alright, so this is the last clip I'm going to play. This is of Hasan denying the rapes as well.
Tripping me out. Okay, so anyway.
He does actually kind of have a bobblehead. What's your take on why Ethan made this video? I think he's become convinced that, like, his crusade against Hasan is based, and that all of the harassment that he's received is very obviously from Hasan fans. And there's no way that any of the people that are disagreeing with him are fans of his that disagree with whatever the fuck this is. And I think he honestly genuinely thinks, no, I just need to show
more
them
gaslighting.
That I'm preparing this.
Bro, what?
Captain Spog, thank you so much.
Good point.
What rapes does Hezbollah do? Bro, what?
Captain Spog, thank you so much for the 4 months. Thanks. Also, sorry, but like, someone linked this as well. In the context of this chat message, it's crazy how little... Okay, right? So for example, I think I'm allowed people... Still, like, Palestinians are correct and you're not. So, moving on.
What rapes did fucking Hamas do? What are you talking?
No, you're lying, dude. Wait. Sorry, I'll go back on this clip for a second. Wait. Ethan also didn't believe the idea.
Okay, there. She kind of skipped over it, but he said, what rapes did Hezbollah do? Bro, what rapes did Hamas do? Again, denying the October 7th rapes. And then... Oh, here's this other part too.
People that talk about...
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Raped.
It's consistency. It's a total farce.
Raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel had...
What's funny about that, Hasan?
Yeah, so...
what do you think his audience is getting from that?
Kamala brings up the October 7th rapes. He bows his head and chuckles, and then, and then later on he says, bro, what rapes did Hamas do? And this girl Denims is totally following that narrative. And then if you look at his chat, Ethan goes through his chat.
They rightly raped. As I said then, I say...
Like, did she really go there? Yeah, it happened, bro. Sorry. Let's go ahead and read the comments. Maybe I'm misinterpreting.
Today,
This is so cringe, dude. Oh my god. Young Donut, thank you for the tier 1.
Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters.
And once again, I don't even think her statement, like, I think she's doing a pretty good job. She says they have a right to defend themselves, as all countries do.
Pixel Brave, thank you for the tier 1.
But how they defend themselves matters. That's true, right? I think we all agree. I think even a lot of people who are critical of Israel would say they had a right to defend themselves up to a point. But then it became, this horrible humanitarian crisis with mass murder, right? And so at what point, where is that point, right? But once again, and in recent news, the president put out a warning to Israel saying that if they don't fix the humanitarian crisis happening in Gaza, that they're...
For the tier 1.
Far too many innocent Palestinians.
Okay, so right here in the middle, it says... Now my mouse died? Jesus. Okay. Right here in the middle, it says, she's still lying about the rapes. This is Hasan's chat. She's still lying about the rapes. Stop fucking lying. Kamala, you dipshit.
Kamala, you dipshit, stop lying. I hate that they always say that. Is there a better way to fucking...
So just lying.
Gross. Boo. Oh my god, with these fucking lies. We are so...
Oh, his chat is so anti-Semitic. Ugh. Can you believe the anti-Semitism here?
Cooked. Again with this shit. Goddamn, stop repeating this fucking lie. We're still perpetuating this shit. Fuck you.
Yeah. So, Hasan is convincing people that these rapes that happened on October 7th are lies. Alright, so I'm going to end this here. Oops. Wrong one. My little ghost friend. Alright, so yeah, that's that. So yeah, it was kind of a long stream. A lot to go through. But I just think this is really gross. I think a lot of people don't fully understand what they're supporting, or they don't care. Again, I'm not defending Israel. Neither is Ethan, but yet they're still calling him a Zionist. I bet if people watch this video, they would call me a Zionist. Supporting Palestine is not supporting Hamas. Supporting Hamas is not supporting Palestine as well. But if you do support Palestine, you probably shouldn't support Hamas. If you want to support the people of Yemen, you shouldn't support the Houthis. again, who are like kidnapping aid workers, hijacking ships of people, not even Israeli ships, and then hurting the other countries in the region that aren't even associated with the West. So, yeah, supporting these terrorist groups is not helping. You're not a good person. They're not good people. And again, Hamas and the Houthis are not the people of Yemen or Palestine. So I'm not saying that Palestinians or people of Yemen or Lebanon are not good people. I'm talking about these terrorist groups that take over, start civil wars in their country, hurt their own people, take rights, execute people of their own country. Those are the people I do not support. And those are the people fighting with Israel. And again, like, I'm not defending Israel's actions either, because I think they've gone too far with this. But I think the problem is there are lots of people who are saying this, that they don't support the IDF and they don't support the, like, Israel's bombings. But then people on the other side are supporting the Houthis and Hamas. So I don't know why we can't just all be like, I support the people of Palestine, but not Hamas. And I support Israel, but not the IDF. I don't know why we can't just all understand that very simple concept. So, yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. I'm just going to end it here kind of abruptly, but I think I've said everything I needed to say. So, yeah, thank you guys. Please like the stream. Feel free to comment if you disagree or agree. I'd like to hear your thoughts. And yeah. I'm glad Denims and Frogan have finally been banned. I think they deserve it. And yeah, let me know what you think. Good night, everybody.